Right on time. Right on time. Beat that. Take that, Discord. Take that, Discord. On time. I'm going to chew a little bit of gum today. I'm going to see if I can make it not obnoxious. Try to keep my mouth from drying out. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Good morning, Maggie. Miss Julie, I see you. Good morning, Miss Julie. Travel Casey, good morning. Chris, good morning. I can't get the gum back in the box now. Kristen, good morning. Good morning, Fex. Always after it. There was a lively debate going on this morning, and I don't think it's done yet in Jones's live. Steve was not having a good morning. I don't know if you guys were checking that out in Jones's live. Good morning, Kiki, Chris, Kat. Good morning to everyone. And, do we look at this? Good morning.
Good morning to me.
How are you?
Oh, I like that color.
Of the hoodie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice, huh? Good job, Whisper. We didn't even plan this. We didn't even plan hoodie day. This is
No,
fun.
we did not.
Happy, are you doing okay? Is the high worn off from America Fest? I know
Oh
you
my
were
God.
really amped up.
Fascism Fest has been amazing to behold.
It was
Tried to
beautiful.
check out this weekend, but just fascism was in Phoenix, live in real time.
Loved it. I felt it.
Oh, I like your hat too.
Thank
You've
you.
got
That's
something
that's the
happening over
golden
here.
bear.
I like
Yeah,
this.
I color coordinated on accident, but I did it. I looked less like a shitty dresser, I think, today.
You
I,
that's what it is.
I think that's
Slightly
all that it
less
is. Yeah,
shitty
my
is.
ship matches, and you're like, wow, you really put it together
I
today.
know. Wow, like you've made changes.
I went a whole day the other day. I was wearing sweatpants, and I forgot like I had laundry, and so like yeah, so my laundry was drying. So I got out of the shower. I just had sweatpants. I didn't have any underwear, and I went like a full day just walking around without underwear in sweatpants. Didn't even think about it.
Donald Duck it.
It was
Donald
great.
Duck never
You
has
can't do
pants
that.
on.
You can't. My
I'm
shirts aren't
just
long
pointing
enough.
something out. If you work remotely, do you need pants? I'm just posing a question. If you work remotely on Zoom, do you need pants? Do you need to invest money in pants? Or can you never have pants on?
Uh, I think if you live in Arizona, you do not need pants. Like legitimately, if you live
Oh,
here
for sure
and
not.
you work from home, you never need a pair of pants ever.
You do not. See,
Yeah.
people are like, no, you don't need pants. Exactly. Save your money, especially in Arizona. It's too hot. Like this summer in Arizona, people are like, why are you always wearing like spandex? First, because I played volleyball and I like do yoga all the time, but
And
also
you never
because
know when
it's
like a
just too
volleyball
hot.
game was gonna break
It's
out.
too hot to have pants on in Arizona anymore.
I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's awful.
Like
It's
for
except for
real.
now, it's cold. Are you
Yeah.
freezing?
Oh my, yeah, it's like six. Oh my God. I'm so embarrassed for us. What is it, like 65 right now? We're like, it's so
It's gotta
cold.
be. I watched some
It is.
crazy
I love
document.
waking up when. Oh my God, I need to talk to you about the TV I watched. Other outside of Fascism Fest,
Let's
which
talk
went
about
on in
TV first.
Arizona. Well, I told you, my new plan. I'm signing you up for a Married at First Sight. I went on a Married at First Sight. You know, I told you guys if you're ever having a bad when your mental health is just failing, I'm like, I will watch other people's lives fail all weekend to boost my own self esteem about my own
I love that.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, Married at
So
First
you
Sight is great.
so you
So,
landed on
yeah,
Married on First. Can you? I don't know this premise. What is this premise?
okay, so it's just like arranged marriages. They just you fill out like thousands of questions, and it's like compatibility essentially tests. And then these like matchmakers who are actually like psychotherapists or whatever, psychologists, they match you up. And like if there's ever
And
like
you're
a
just stuck
Married
with
at
it?
First Sight poor mental health edition. No, it's like, okay, so it's a show. They match you up. The show starts, you immediately get married, like real life
Just
married.
day
Then
one.
there's day one. Yeah, day
Okay.
one is the marriage. Then you have 2 months. You have eight, you move into like a place together that they provide, and you have like 8 weeks to not hate each other.
Eight
And
weeks?
8 weeks. You have 2 months,
Okay.
and then the final decision day, they call it, is when you agree to like either stay married or break up.
How often do they stay together? It's got to be like 1%
It
of the
is.
time, right?
I would say the interesting thing about it is it's right in line with probably how many marriages work in real life. Do
It's
you know
just
what I'm? Do
regular
you know what?
divorce rates. Yeah, like
Like
forty
it's
percent
no
work.
different.
That's a
Yeah,
good
it's
point.
like exactly. It's just like okay, less than half work. Like okay, cool. Yeah.
I didn't
But
think
here's the
about
best
that.
part. I've been talking to you like saying I'm gonna sign you up all weekend. And then I started a new season late last night and not my I'm not gonna say what season, I'm not gonna say who it is because I like somehow he's gonna see this. But not my ex coworker on there pretending to
Yes.
just be like a normal person. It's like,
And
bro,
they're not normal.
like the whole tech industry knows who you are. Like, what are you doing? Like, I can't. Anyways,
How do you do?
he he's pretending to be somebody that I never knew he was. That's what I'm trying to say. He's like just pretending to be another person.
I remember this kid from my high school. He was on Survivor. I think he won
Oh,
Survivor.
well, that's cool, actually.
Well, but hold on. Let me tell you the rest of the story. Uh, he was. I'm trying to remember his name. But he came out like there was this whole big expose, and he's like, "Yeah, I think people are gonna be shocked that I'm on Survivor. When I was in high school, everybody picked on me because like I was fat, and now I'm shocked them. I came out, and not only am I in good shape, but also I'm gay, and everybody's gonna be shocked." And we were like, first of all, like all of us were like, "You weren't. You looked like that. You weren't like this big kid." And like we all knew you were gay. I didn't know you hadn't come out. All of us were like, "We're you. What are you talking about? You were always gay. We always knew you were gay. You liked guys. It was very strange." But I just
I
remember
think that's
thinking like
because
how
you don't
much they hyped
understand
it.
what coming out's like. Like, I think, especially in the Mormon religion, that was like his worst fear. So, like, what probably people might already be able to see and like accept, it's hard to accept about yourself.
Well,
Like,
I
yeah,
think it was
I
just
mean,
played to the cameras. My sister was also
oh,
on
for
a
sure. Well, because
television
everyone
show.
has to have a story. That's reality TV. You have to like have your story.
Yeah. My sister was on a show on TLC. It's called Long Lost
Really?
Family. Yeah. So it's like when people get like reunited with long lost family, and so this was like with her biological mom, and it was so weird watching it because they dramatize everything, and the house they're at isn't their house. The story they told wasn't
Yeah,
really the exact
Airbnb.
story. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird to see like the production end, and see like that a lot of these things are manufactured because the drama that they tried to manufacture in that episode wasn't really there. However, the real drama of my sister's biological mom is unfucking believable.
So you have
Like,
different moms. So you were both adopted. I don't know this.
yeah, like we're 6 months apart in age, so we're both
That's
adopted,
close
different,
for
obviously
siblings.
yeah, obviously different parents altogether. But she found her biological mom, and she's like, yeah, it was in college, it was like a short term relationship. I got pregnant, and then gave the child up for adoption. But it turns out like now ancestry exists, and the only like parental match is this very old man now, very old, who happens to be a professor at the university at the same time as her biological mom. And then but then there's another match that's almost as close, that's like 8 years younger than her biological mom. So it would have been like, so it's either like this really, really old, her dad is either this super old guy that was a professor, or this young kid who
How is that
had an
even
illegal
possible?
relationship. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's crazy. I saw a documentary where, like back in the day, they didn't foresee DNA. So this guy had just donated sperm. He went to like the University of Cal Berkeley. He ended up having like 90 something kids out there. Cause like at the time it never occurred. He was just donating sperm
Yeah.
just, in
I think I saw
college.
that
And
one.
it was a about all
Yeah.
the bio kids like finding each other because of ancestry and then like going and meeting him. It's crazy.
So here's the ones I watched this week, and I guess I thought one of them was all the way. I guess it's a weekly series. It's called Murder in Boston. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, that's a daily series. Yes.
It's just a day. No, it was from this. It was from this. I don't think you're supposed to say that word. That Schmurder in 1989. That like this guy. I assume this guy unalived his wife, but he blamed it on like just a random black man. Like he's like
Oh
6 feet
God.
tall. This is in the 80s, right? So Adidas
Yeah.
jumpsuit. Yeah. Adidas jumpsuit in 1989. Okay, so
Of
literally
course.
everybody. And then the police just going on this, like basically went through the entire like that whole area of housing projects, and they basically just stopped every black man in the city. They had like, so far they're at 3 different people that they've accused and said it was the guy, and then they had to release him. That one's interesting if you guys are watching that. But the other one was, this one's hard to watch. It's a hard watch. It's called Great Photo, Lovely Life. No?
I'm scared. What is that?
So there's this, it's a photojournalist. Her name's Amanda Mustard. This takes place over, it had to be at least 10 years, maybe more, of her filming her mother and other people in their family confronting their dad, who, like, he was a chiropractor and he was sexually assaulting, like, children all over the place, and including the mother. And they're confronting this dad who's like still alive, and he's kind of open about it, but it takes place over like 10 to 12 years, and it's fascinating. I could not stop watching it, but it's like from like this opening moment till the end, it's just devastating the whole way through. There's never like,
Well,
oh,
it sounds
it never
devastating.
gets better. It's just like all shit, and then at the end they're like, we're gonna do our best to live our lives. Like that's how it is. They're just like, I don't know. There's no fixing this. This guy fucked up
That's how
everything.
my family arguments end. There's no end. It's just like, okay, well, we're all still shitty people. Let's just separate for
Yeah, both of these are
just
on
no
HBO,
answer.
by the way. Both of these are HBO Max. Uh,
Yeah, what was the name of the last one someone's asking?
Great photo, lovely life.
I'm gonna watch that.
It's wild. This dude, like, this is what's crazy. So this is how different things were, and that's what I kept thinking about all this time. So like the mother of the guy who's doing all the abuse, she lives a miserable life because she knows about this. But also back then, it's like you stand by your man, right? You stay with your man, and so this guy winds up kind of just running from things his whole life, like running from more or less criticism because he doesn't really get in trouble, but his wife just follows him around the whole country and her whole life, just knowing the secret, knowing he's abused like their own children, and her trying to figure it out. So that was devastating. But this guy got caught. So it was like 1979 maybe. This guy got caught. He went to trial. He was convicted of I don't remember what it was. It might have been rape. It might have been sexual assault. I can't remember. But he got two years probation, and he moved from, they were in Pennsylvania. They just moved from wherever they were to Harrisburg, which was like 2 hours away, and he immediately got a new job at a chiropractor place because nothing follows you. And then there were accusations there too, and they're like, "Hey, don't do that anymore." And then it took like a while for enough accusations to pile up for them to get rid of him, and then he just went on and started like selling stuff. It was wild. Yeah.
I've always found it very interesting, just as a woman who worked in corporate America, that a woman who is essayed in corporate America, that will end her career if she speaks up about it. Being a victim of it and saying it out loud will end your career
Yeah.
because you'll be known as someone who's possibly litigious.
Same in politics,
And
right?
men can actually be doing the essaying and they'll cover it up for them. It's just like it's
Yeah.
super wild.
Yeah, like who lived the better life with Trump and E. Jean Carroll? One of them just a life of
Exactly.
destruction.
Think about it, how
Yeah.
crazy that is. Just
Yeah.
for saying the truth. Jesus Christ, I'm calling you by your name. You both have to watch Jesus Camp. I watched Jesus Camp. That came out a long time ago. That's a really good HBO
Yeah.
documentary. I have watched Jesus Camp. Have you seen it, RTV? That's how my camps
Maybe.
were. I don't like, that's what was going on for me. We talked about religious summer camp. Yeah, religious summer camp's wild.
I don't know if I did see it.
You would like it.
I don't see it on HBO right now, so it must be on
I
something
think I
else.
thought it was on HBO.
There's just something about like watching cult documentaries. I think for me, like because I was in a cult coming out of it, and so I'm like, it could have been way worse. I think that's why I like cult documentaries so much. It's because coming out of one
No, that's
myself,
me.
it like makes me feel good. I'm like, I dodged sometimes a literal
Yeah, like
bullet.
Jesus kept, it's like the whole thing where, like we talk about, like, if you're an evangelical, you find out you have like prophetic gifts to like speak in tongues, or like you do like all of that crazy stuff that evangelicals do. That's what my summer camps were like.
We should,
Just
yeah.
us pretending we were all hearing from the Lord and getting superpowers.
That's that's my
Should be a
life.
sociological study.
That's speaking of superpowers. Did you know Donald Trump has a superpower?
Yeah, I
Did you
have
know
my
this?
stress ball for whatever we have to talk about today. What?
Donald Trump has
Which
the
one is it?
ability. Yeah, if you fight in the UFC and you embrace Donald Trump, immediately your career will go like just straight down the shitter. It's unbelievable.
Really?
Every time a fighter has publicly come out and like supported Trump, immediately their career has just fallen apart. Bryce Mitchell was the latest. I put up a tick. Did you see the TikTok I put up today?
No, I haven't seen it, so tell me about it.
Okay,
I like
so
to learn about
Bryce
sports.
Mitchell, Bryce Mitchell is like this flat earther, big Trumper. Honestly, believes like he's preparing his family now as a very gifted UFC fighter. By the way, like he was one of the
Really,
next
blue
stars.
eyes. Sorry,
Yeah,
just
he's
throwing
like
it out
this
there. He calls
redneck
himself
kid.
Thug Nasty.
Yeah, like jokingly, like he'll eat like roadkill and stuff. Like when he was on the Ultimate
Makes
Fighter,
sense.
he
Makes
would go
sense.
out and like catch animals and eat them. It's just he's that kind of guy. I want to say Georgia, Arkansas, backwoods somewhere down there. But then he started getting political because of like
Of
COVID and
course he
because
did.
of flat Earth, and so he's a big Trump supporter. So he goes on Tucker this week. He takes a fight with a guy named Josh Emmett who punches hard but isn't like an elite guy. And goes on Tucker and does this whole spiel. Tucker clips it into this very passionate moment of like, the guy's like, I have no fear. Like, I only fear God, and God's put this in front of me for my family. Like, and one punch knockout. And one of the most brutal knockouts you'll ever see. One punch out, like, convulsing on the ground. He's lost two
Like side of
fights
the
now.
head, like to the
Yeah,
temple. Where did he get
yeah,
hit?
right in the side of the head,
Yeah.
in the little soft spot there.
Yeah.
He was I believe undefeated or on a huge win streak. The second he endorsed Trump, he lost two in a row. Then you have Colby Covington. Do you know who that is?
No, but I'm gonna look him up.
Abysmal person. He is the most hated and worst person in the UFC, and that's not like a Trump thing. That's just literally everybody hates him. He's a phony. He's a fraud. He'll say the worst things. He told the guy he was fighting that he was going to drag him into the
God, these
ninth
people
level
all
of
look
hell.
exactly what I think they're gonna look
Yeah,
like.
he looks exactly what you
No,
think. He got a new tattoo that says "We the People" on his chest. I don't know if you can see that, but he got
no.
that's a new one. But
Age
uh,
35, 5'11". God, these guys just fit like just the same mold.
yeah, like the guy he was fighting, his dad was schmurdered, and he's like, "I'm gonna take you to the ninth level of hell in the fight," and he's like, "And maybe we'll see your dad there." Like just a bad person. So he loses a majority decision. Just got throttled the entire fight, but he's the same guy. So as soon as he embraced Trump, he lost back-to-back title fights. Then he lost this one. The only fight he won was against another Trump guy who Trump likes way more than him. And he beat that guy, but Trump still doesn't like him. And this guy comes down out of the comes down, gets in the octagon, sees Trump on the sideline, goes over, gives him a handshake, has some words of encouragement for him. And there's a clip. They interview him after, still in the ring, and he's talking about Trump, and he's talking about how he doesn't give up. And you can stream it. Trump's just leaving. He's gone. Like, this guy is the ultimate pick me. Trump does not give a shit about him because he lost. But every UFC fighter who goes down this road, they wind up losing. And I don't think it's a curse. I actually think that when you get on this MAGA train, like every part of your life likely gets worse. Your relationships get worse. Your brain certainly gets worse. Your comprehension gets worse because in order to like stay on the MAGA train, you have to just ignore so much reality and get so tied into all these conspiracies that I think it legitimately like ruins people's lives.
Listen, it says here that Colby Covington committed to Arizona State University, but his test scores weren't up to par. Like, I mean, if you're a Division I athlete, you know he couldn't get his ACT or SAT score high enough, basically.
Right. And
So he
he
went to
wound up at like
community
Oregon
college.
State, I think.
And like to get your AC, I can't even remember what it is now, but it's not high. In case you're wondering, to like Be a Division One athlete. It's not like you have to be like extremely intelligent, have some high test
I want to
score.
say it was
Like you
20
got
or
to write
20.
your name correctly on there,
I want to say it
and
was 20 or 21 or something like that is all you needed
yeah, it's
when I was
not.
playing, which
It's
is low. It's very. I think
for
a
the
perfect
ACT.
score is like 34 or 36 or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've been to ASU. There's 850
yeah.
million people on campus. It's so
ASU.
easy to get in. It's the
There's
world's.
80 million people that go there. 80
There's
million,
so
I think
many
is
people.
exact.
I went down on a Saturday morning. It's not far from where I live, and I wanted Einstein, so I went down there because that was the closest Einstein. There's 5 Einsteins on campus. 5 on one
That's like
campus.
halfway in between our houses. If we wanted to meet tomorrow, we should probably just meet
Maybe
at
at
ASU.
ASU. We could have met at America Fest, but you didn't want to.
So that is actually probably halfway between our houses. That was so, I can't believe that was so much crazier than I thought. You guys just have no idea what is happening in Phoenix. It's still going on today, right? Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's 4 days. I think it might still be happening.
What's Einstein's? It's a bagel place. Einstein's Cali is a bagel place. Einstein Bagel.
Einstein's is so good. It's a
Crazy.
chain, yeah.
All right,
Cinnamon sugar bagels.
let's jump into America Fest. This is your baby. Take it
Oh my
away.
God.
We listen.
I don't have any. I mean, I don't even know if I should talk about. I'm like scared to even. Hold on,
You're
let me get, I
scared.
have the
What are you
clip.
scared of?
I mean, I like earlier. I was like, should we even talk about this? I don't even understand. So Charlie Kirk has been tasked, with getting Gen Z voters, right? They throw money at him. Like he works for Turning Point USA. His literal job is to convert the Gen Z votes. Like that's what America Fest is based on. It
Yeah.
started last year in the height of like, the election was stolen rhetoric, all that stuff. Carrie Lake was there claiming to still be governor. And I was like, there's no way that this can get weirder compared to what was going on there last year. But like,
I think they even
never
didn't they
say
list
never.
her as Governor Carrie Lake, if I remember correctly. I think like on some of the material it said like Governor Carrie
Yes.
Lake. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh shit! There goes my light.
I want to, so, I mean, we can play some
All of it.
clips. I'm like, well,
All of
yeah,
it.
we have to be careful. Okay. So first, like,
What?
just
You
I,
keep saying we
to
need to be
that point,
careful about what? What are
I
you?
don't know. Well, I'm saying some of these people are yelling insane things. Like I'm saying, what I don't even know if some of this stuff
Oh,
they're
you think
yelling
we
should
might
be
get
played
banned?
on the yes. Like I mean, some of it's crazy.
Yeah.
These people are wacko. Okay, so I just want to play like just to the point I'm trying to make about Charlie Kirk. This is his job basically to convert the Gen Z vote. So at some point I'm just gonna go off. If you're, let me see where we are. I'm going to play a clip of them interviewing young people, Gen Z voters, like at America Fest, what they're saying. And I mean, it's holy
Is this
brainwashing.
from
I'm scared for these
Philip
children.
Kowski? Is this one of his tweets?
Yeah.
There's hope.
Oh, wait, let me
Age,
turn
and
it
you're
up.
like, there's hope for the future, and it's a great feeling. I highly recommend.
We've been to all the America Fest. We're just diehard patriots. We love it. We love everything Charlie Kirk has to offer. We love Turning Point. We just love the event. Yeah, we've been to a lot of Turning Point events together, met a lot of cool people, a lot of fun experiences. So yeah, we're happy to be here.
We just love the environment and speakers and being with like-minded people and getting to hear about all the amazing things that are going on in our country and how we can improve and be better and grow both in our mindset and spiritually. Well, our grandpa was persecuted in the Soviet Union, and so we definitely know what it's like to have our beliefs and morals under attack, and so it's really cool to come here and hear what's going on in America and how we can, as the next generation, step up and kind of like find a solution to that. So yeah.
Way of being around with so many people with similar beliefs and know that we're not kind of alone in like the sea of blue, especially since we're going to college. So just the idea of that, like, we're not the lone person around.
It'll just be like good to be around like the great conservative atmosphere and see speakers like Rob Schneider, Brandon Tatum, Charlie Kirk, hopefully, and all those great speakers.
Rob
Take
Schneider.
care of the problems in this country, and he was everything that I could ask for. So he needs 4 more years. Let's get him out there 4 more years so he can straighten this country out for us.
What brings you guys out today?
Just trying to get to a place where people are free and people can agree with the like-minded things.
Warm weather, awesome people, amazing environment, and just an electrifying area to be with a lot of young conservatives.
I love America, and it's like super fun to be around other people that have the same values, and yeah.
Talk to me about Generation Z. Do you think there's a conservative awakening going on right now?
I definitely think so. Within the past few years, with Joe Biden in office, it hasn't gone great, and I think the young.
Yeah. I can't even. You guys need to understand. They call this America Fest. It was like Fascist Fest. This was a fascist rally. All we do is talk about the 14 points of fascism. I mean, the things that were being said were vile. And these kids, it reminds me so much. Like we're talking about, oh, I think I watched documentaries about being in religious cults because I was in one. Though that, do you guys hear how they all sound the same? They're all robotic. That's how I was when I was a young evangelical kid going to, what do they call that? Youth. Oh my God, I can't
Youth
even
group?
remember. No, it's called something specific. I can't even
know.
remember, but it's like a young evangelical thing that we all did. Anyways, but yeah, they all sound exactly the same. and
Yeah, they
it's
sound like they're
terrifying.
testifying.
Cognitive.
That's exactly what it's testimony to me. It's nothing specific. It's just like it's not like the two
Young
girls,
Life. That's what it's called. Young Life. Who was in Young Life?
Young
Sorry.
the two girls that were like the one says something like our parents were from the Soviet Union, so we know what it's like. I thought that was
grandfather.
I thought that was honest. I think what she's saying is in the Soviet Union there was like that 5-year atheist plan, right? They wanted to like get rid of religion, specifically Christianity. And now she's like, we know what it's like to try and silence the voices of others, and how hard it is to keep these goddamn liberals from talking, and for these gay people from talking and existing.
Can you
it
believe
wasn't-
that? That's what
Yeah, it
they're
wasn't
saying.
they're the persecutors. That's the part I thought was funny. Like
Like,
America
it's so
Fest,
hard to be at college where everyone's learning and accepting of other people and being the only bigots there. It's really tough. It's nice to be here with a larger group of bigots. Like, what are you
It's
talking
really
about?
tough. It's a tough place right now. If you're in America and you are white and you are a Christian and you are conservative, you're so persecuted because some people don't like you. That's the weirdest part about conservative persecution is there's no actual persecution, right? There's nothing actually happening to Christian conservatives other than people are saying we don't like you, and they're like, that's not fair. It's like, no, it's fair. People just don't like you. That's all that's happening to you. There's no real persecution. People are just like, yeah, we don't like that, and they're like, we're so persecuted because for the first time ever in this country, like you do get made fun of when you act like that. It's the first time ever, and they don't know.
Especially
what to do
on
with it.
college campuses. Yeah. Like, and yeah. So, and for anyone asking again, it's called America Fest. This is like the second annual one. It goes on in downtown Phoenix at the convention center. And it's everyone from like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, every right wing, Steve Bannon screaming like a maniac. So I just want you to think about, okay, you heard from these kids who are clearly in cognitive dissonance, like their parents dropped them off there as a field trip. Now listen, Charlie Kirk, who's their, leader, who's trying to churn out the Gen Z vote. Listen to what Charlie Kirk was instructing these people to be up to.
You're a young person here, and you say, boy, what do I want to do for my life? Honestly, you should get married as young as possible and have as many kids as possible. Period. Reject the siren song of modernity. Now, some parents are probably, I don't like that, they should basically, they should go get a job first. You're wrong. I'm sorry. Honestly. We are on the verge of a population collapse in this country. Every day, I receive emails from young women filled with regret in their late 30s. And they say, Charlie, I'm sobbing as I write this email because what you talk about on the show is exactly right. I have a couple college degrees. I have a great
Nobody's
job and
writing that
almost no
email.
debt. But I was told, to forego having a family. But now I'm looking around and I have a lot of cats and no kids.
That's right, ladies. That's right, women in our 30s. Did you guys hear that? We're wasting away with our cats. Forget actual evidence-based science that shows unmarried women without children are like one of the happiest demographics in this country. Forget that part. Charlie Kirk says, get pregnant, have as many kids as possible. Don't worry about education. Don't worry about a job.
Keep in mind, Charlie Kirk's been married since 2012. It's 2023. He has one child. One. The fuck you been doing, Charlie?
I didn't even know he was married. Now I need
Yeah,
to
he
look
married a former. I think it
Let
was
me guess, is she
I think
blonde?
it was Miss Arizona. I'm pretty sure it was a former Miss Arizona that he married, and
There's
she
very
is.
attractive women in Arizona.
Yeah, and look, if you've ever been on a dating app in Arizona, and you're
You were
looking at
for like a day.
for like 2 days, and literally every blonde on the dating app, it's like Christian conservative. I want a man who can take care of me. It's like, all right, cool. There's no place for it. There's no place. It is just littered with divorced Christian conservative women with no understanding that, like, hey, you know why maybe you hated being married? Because you were married to a Christian conservative man. Maybe that's why. Like, it's not a good deal for you. Maybe you get rid of some of that.
Yeah, your labor was valued at zero. Oh yeah, I see her.
Well, that's the cycle, right?
She's a pageant winner. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's the cycle, right? For a Christian conservative woman, you get married young. Hopefully your marriage works out. To anybody who's a Christian conservative woman here and that's married, I hope your marriage is very happy and it works out. But if you get divorced, you're stuck. Like, what do you have? What did you have after that marriage? You might have got half their money. Let's hope they made money. If they didn't make money, you don't have shit. You don't have any real job prospects. So what are your options? You've got kids now at this point. Are you going to go out and start a career? Or are you going to get on a dating site and say, like, hey, this is what I'm used to. Like, maybe I can, like, the best case scenario for you is that you all find another man who can pay the bills. Like, that's
Well, no,
the
but you
cycle.
have to also factor in, according to Christian what's being taught. As soon as a woman is divorced, she's also tainted. If you're religious, you're
Yeah.
tainted as a woman once you're divorced.
And I'm going through each one like I'd like read the profile because I want to see what they said. I'm like, yeah, I could change her. This is my thought process the whole time. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work. I
That's why
lasted
you
a
need to
day
be
and
on
a
Married
half.
at First Sight. You would
I don't
be
know how you guys
perfect
do
for
it
all
with
these
dating profiles and websites. I just will probably be single forever because I can't do that shit.
Just
It's
have
like
no idea.
it's so weird. It's so weird to like. For me, I don't know, but you probably feel the same way. But it's so weird to like write a profile. You're like trying to sell yourself, like it's a job interview. That's how I feel.
Well,
Like
I worked in advertising, so like that's the thing. I thrive at that stuff. Like
You just
I
killed
understand
it.
you
You
have 2
killed
seconds
Bumble.
to like catch someone's attention. Like, what do you say? That was like my job. So I actually should probably start a side business making profiles for men, and also like automated like responses like that women want to hear. 'Cause, like, women just want to know. I'm just saying, like, women want to know you're smart, you're sarcastic, you're funny. You know what I mean? Like, men just are a little confused about what women want to
So
know. Like, we
confused.
don't want to see you holding a giant fish. Okay, just to clear that up, men. Women do not want to see you holding a giant fish
But what?
on your dating
But
profile.
listen,
But thank
fit,
you.
that's a lean protein, and I can get that. I can get that for you anytime.
You're a pro.
Okay. Yeah, I can provide lean protein for you whenever you need it.
Do
That's
not hold
that's
up
not
a
a selling
fish
point.
on your dating profile.
Okay, so
Thank you.
the
Or
picture.
you with a giant unalived animal, with camo on, like unnecessary.
What about? Okay, so not that, but maybe just like a picture of me like climbing
All
into
the
my
women
truck.
in the comments. Not your car either. You know
What
what, I
about-
mean?
no,
with
big
like
truck.
LED lights, like backlighting, like
If anybody
the big
remembers,
truck.
you guys may have seen this guy around TikTok. He showed up this weekend. His name's Joel Patrick. He had like a moment in the sun on YouTube a while ago with that girl that used to that pooped her pants. And he jumps into like abortion debates. He's a black conservative guy. He doesn't say anything smart, but I remember one time being in a debate with him, and he like
What's
stopped
his name
the,
again? Tell me again.
Joel Patrick, Joel.
Okay.
I just remember he in the middle of like a debate. I don't remember what we were talking about. He just like turned on his camera, or no, he turned on a picture. He's like, "That's my truck." It was just this big ass like lifted truck. And he's like, it was $80,000 truck out of nowhere. And nobody said anything. And then like one of the women in there went, cool truck, bro. And then for the rest of the day, just was like, show us your truck, bro. Show us your truck, bro. And I remember thinking like, oh, they don't care about trucks. I guess I don't have to get a big truck. I guess I can get rid of that.
I mean, yeah,
I had
it's
a lifted
unnecessary.
truck
Like,
once.
I'm sorry that men feel that women, that's what we need to see. Like when the one elective I took in high school outside of just core tons of academic classes was autos, and we all had these dumb jumpsuits we had to wear, and our autos teacher was just this 25-year-old guy who made us put a lift kit on his truck to impress his girlfriend. I
That's
was like, this is
amazing.
like slave labor. What is going on? Like, can we learn how to actually do something?
We care about kindness and credit score. That's what Kelly says. Well, raise your hand in the chat if you care about a man's credit score as part of dating them. Do they have to? What's the minimum, or just what's the minimum credit score you'll accept?
I do not at all care about that.
Okay.
Personally.
Well, you're
Like,
single.
yeah, it's the last thing I care about. I just care like if somebody is okay being vulnerable and empathetic. Like, can you put yourself in another person's shoes and see their perspective? Like, that's number one what I care about. Credit scores haven't even been around that long. Like, this is just another thing made up to hold us all down. Like, we need to be working on like erasing credit scores. But yeah, no, it's not like, it's not, if you're deceiving somebody about something, that's bad. But like, no, I don't think anyone should be judged by anything like that.
Well, the chat disagrees. Let's get.
Well, if you're, I'm just saying, if you're, listen, I don't know. I'm not married though. Like, I'm not looking for somebody to like fix me. I understand now fully that like I need to have a full life and be a full human being on my own. And theoretically, I'm obviously single. Like, we're batting zero relationships, you and I. But like, theoretically, once I'm a whole person and bring like a whole package to the table, then I can meet someone else. I'm not looking for somebody to like complete me or like provide for me, essentially.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I've had some like warning track shots though with relationships. I've almost hit home runs. I've had some warning track power. I don't consider myself.
Come on. Are you joking?
I've had a couple defenders like making a diving catch,
I
robbing
didn't realize
me
you were married for as long as you were.
Thank you.
Actually. So I do give you credit because I didn't know how long it was.
I feel like you should probably
much longer than I thought.
Yeah, you should probably give her credit, not me.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's just long suffer. She just hung in there.
Yeah, I think all credit needs to go to her. She's the one that that dealt with a lot, not me so much. I just dealt with me. I'm not that hard to deal with, you know.
Yeah, that's true. You just
let's go
give you a toy and like put you in the corner. Yeah.
Did you see Tucker Carlson? This goes along with your Charlie Kirk, but do you remember when Tucker Carlson said that you needed to have Mormon level of kids? Do you remember that? It's been this weird right wing. This kind of started with Elon. The first I remember seeing it is Elon. The first person I remember talking about like having a bunch of kids recently, because this used to be an old trope, but recently, like this younger generation of like you got to have a bunch of kids started with Elon, and then Tucker picked it up, and now it's like the mantra. And this is what's crazy about Republicans. They're advocating for this because they know that just like society will not breed conservatives. It can't. It's not popular. Nobody wants to be a conservative. The ideas don't work. And so they're like, all right, here's the new plan. We're going to have a bunch of fucking kids and we're going to homeschool them. We're going to take them out of public school.
That's
we're gonna
literally
have
the
a bunch
plan.
of kids. Yeah, that's literally the plan. They're telling you to your face that because they can't win the battle of ideas, they are going to remove your ideas, homeschool their children, and just make so many of them. So many of them. Like, I think 20 to 30 years from now, we're going to see an uptick in cults. We're going to see all these kids acting out, joining either like they'll leave their religion and join cults, or just like a ton of violence. You're going to see if Charlie Kirk's able to implement this. It doesn't work. Like, forcing women to stay in the home and just birth a bunch of children creates resentful women and resentful children. That's what happens. And that's why our society is today the way that it is because we already tried this once and everybody's like, fuck that sucked. And the conservatives are like, we got to do it again. That's the problem. We just need to do it again.
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, this is all about the birth rate decreasing, specifically the white birth rate. I said it again. It's called The Birth Dearth. It's a book. You could read it. They've been thinking about this for a long, long time.
Well, and for Charlie Kirk, he has to, because his grift isn't working. He's not
He's
accomplishing.
really bad at it.
He's not accomplishing any of his goals. So in order for Charlie Kirk to continue to get money, Charlie Kirk has to do what he's doing now. Just like he's abandoned any facade of I'm not a fascist and just like, oh, we're doing fascism now. We're doing full on Christian nationalist fascism now, because he can't say like, hey, come out and vote for conservative ideas for lower taxes. It didn't work. He got blown the fuck out the last 2 elections that he tried to win. And this is the only way he's going to be able to keep this grift alive. Is now he's got to
I
be
don't
like,
need to play the clip, but did you see Charlie was also coming for the Romney? He's obsessed.
I didn't
with
see.
the
I wanted to. I saw it on the thing. I wanted to listen to it first time with you.
Do
I
you want
wanted
to hear?
to
I
share this
know. I
moment
put it there
together.
because I'm just like, I'm sure you want to hear anything relating to the Romneys.
Yeah. First of all, how dare you, Mitt Romney? If you're out there, I hope you're having a wonderful Monday.
Well, he now he's just coming for Ronna.
To remake the Republican Party as a grassroots party from the bottom up and kick out the Romneys, the Paul Ryans from the Republican Party once and for all. And this wins me no favors. In fact, some people said, Charlie, are you going to bring it up? And I said, I don't know. It depends. You got to let the vibes feel. Okay, here we go. Ronna McRomney has to resign as chair of the RNC. She has got to resign. Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? She's got to go. Well, there you go. Oh, that's nice. I'm sick of being nice. I want to win.
Charlie's lost his mind. Oh, hey, Red Crow, you should meet. I don't know if you've met RTP. You should come up here and talk to him sometime. Sorry, just somebody in the comments you would love to talk to. He's a contrarian. He just disagrees with it. He'll argue the opposite sides, like both
Just all of them?
sides in a conversation. Just no matter what's being discussed, he will disagree, even with himself. He's smart.
I want to know what Charlie Kirk thinks Ronna, what is it now? I want to say McDaniel. I want to know what he thinks she's done that's so wrong.
Well, it starts with Romney. Like, it's the betrayal of MAGA. Like the establishment Republicans are more guilty.
And
it's
again,
like it's like with how Mormons and Christians think. If you know God, if you've had a chance to meet the Lord and you turn away from him, you're worse than just the complete heathens that have no idea.
That's me. Yeah, that's why I'm worse.
Exactly.
Again, though, this is MAGA. This is the current Republican Party. You guys don't understand what's happening. You have no idea. When Republicans like Romney and McDaniel and Paul Ryan are opposing you, it's not because they're cowardly. It's because they want to win. Like they're not in this to just be contrarian for no reason. It is not helpful for any of these people to be contrarian. They want to win, and they're looking at raw data, and they understand that the Charlie Kirk branch of the Republican Party cannot win. The ideas are too far right. And Charlie Kirk, again, has to double down on this type of rhetoric. He has to blame them for all of his losses, because he can't say this was me. He can't say, like, we did our best, you gave me millions of dollars, and nobody gave a shit. He has to find somebody to blame, which is the Republican way. You guys don't have plans. The America Fest was what? Have a bunch of kids and fuck Joe Biden. That was the whole thing. Like, the whole thing is fuck everybody who says anything against us and have a bunch of kids.
That was women's marching orders. You know what I mean? That's what we got. Women, you need to have some children. So Charlie Kirk has absolutely lost his mind. Oh, Red Crow's here. Are you ready to talk to someone? You feel like it? Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, tap the screen also. I forgot to say that earlier. Let's tap the screen and share the live with your favorite or least favorite Republican. I love the snowman.
What's up?
Well,
babe?
look who it is.
Hey, Felice. Nice to hear that
Hey,
voice.
how are you?
Good.
That was cute. Nice to meet you. I don't know if we've spoken before or not. I have a bad memory, so sorry if we have.
I don't know either. We may have. I'm not sure. The way I see it, because I'm pretty deep into the MAGA, and it is a form of contrarianism, but we don't like these Republicans because we see them as globalist. So they're not America first people. They're let's get the world involved, which to some degree can be good because then that raises the living standards across the board, but it also enforces the imperial nature of America in that we control these poorer nations with our cash.
Okay.
And so when no one's supporting Charlie Kirk, it's because Charlie Kirk is anti-globalist. He's anti Mick Romney's making money in other countries. Mick Romney's a big mutual fund
So
guy.
look, that's I appreciate that that may be your position, Red Crow. But if that's Charlie Kirk's position, then somebody fucking tell Charlie Kirk that that's his position, because that's not what he says his position is. Charlie Kirk is just a xenophobic, race baiting charlatan. He does not care, and frankly, I don't believe anybody in MAGA cares that what we're doing is that we're propping up these countries and keeping them down with our cash. I believe that MAGA just cares that like white America, white Christian America stays intact. I don't It's hard for me to believe that this is the real argument from anybody in MAGA, because it's an argument that you only hear in on a debate stage, or like when you and I are having a discussion. If I turn on Fox, I turn on OAN, I turn on America Fest, nobody's saying what you're saying. They're all just like vaguely blaming problems on immigrants and brown people and liberals, and they're misidentifying what Marxism is.
There's
Which you being from Central America, which is why I still struggle with your position on this, right?
Well, I'm sure he's right to some degree. There are groups of people who are what you described right now. How big, I don't know. But the circle I'm in does mention wanting to, stop globalism. And just go back,
What's the circle that you're in?
just a group of friends that I talk to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm not like on some board or anything like that. But
But do you agree with me that like the Republicans aren't out there making this their focal point, or even like one of their focal points?
well, yes and no. Maybe you're not, because you have to really like listen to them a lot to hear it. But I don't
Yeah,
think.
that's what I mean. It's not a focal point. If I watch what they're putting out, if I go to Turning Point USA's YouTube, if I go to Tim Pool's YouTube, if I go to Ben Shapiro's YouTube, Steven Crowder's YouTube, Tucker Carlson, if I go to any of these sites and I go to their YouTube, none of them are promoting this stuff. It's all in the weeds. So like if this is the actual position, and this position actually like is kind of sensible. I may disagree with how we implement it, but I can validate that yes, like we are imperialists. Yes, we destabilize all over the world, and we shouldn't do that. But that's not the message being sent by Republicans. It's nowhere near the top line of their messaging.
Right, because it's hard to digest that your wealth is built on global slavery. So
Yeah, because then you might have to also admit things about our country, right? You might have to admit to systemic oppression of minority communities, of indigenous people, of women, of LGBTQ communities. You can't really talk about the oppression we've caused around the world without talking about the oppression that we've caused here, right?
right. So I like to go back to like 2008, I think it was 2012 maybe. Back then, it was the 99% movement and the Tea Party movement. And those two movements literally had the same goals. But we got infiltrated by corporate globalists who changed the topics. They started throwing abortion, LGBTQ, racism, like all these topics had been, for the most part, fixed. For the most part. Not
Are
perfect.
you out of your mind?
Well, I mean, Roe versus Wade existed, right?
Stop. Okay, yeah, I mean, let's not say fixed, but like I just
I didn't
think
say
you're
perfect.
confused because you're saying infiltrated. I agree that we shouldn't be talking about culture wars when we're talking about voting, but now you're talking about the Tea Party is your belief system. You're essentially like what, a libertarian almost then. And you're saying your party was infiltrated. No, crony capitalism is the Republican Party.
It's
Like, that's what
both
I'm
parties.
confused about. I understand what your position is, but you are voting for a party who has a platform around election time that they do not follow through with. You
I
want to
think
end globalism? The Republican Party is globalism.
right. And so right, you're right. And so both parties are globalists. They need globalism to survive.
But only one party pretends not to be. Your party pretends to be like this. Like, you have a bunch of Christian nationalists, like that makes up the majority of your party, and yet these Christian nationalists just like continue down this globalist agenda. And that's why I don't think it's about globalism versus nationalism. I actually think it's about deep-seated racism and bigotry. You guys don't want more brown and black people in this country. You guys don't want liberal ideas. You don't want the existence of LGBTQ people. What you guys care about will come to the surface. That's what's great about social media. Clicks tell what people care about. And the clicks from your party have almost nothing to do with nationalism versus globalism. Never. It never has anything to do with that. It's always like Riley Gaines could have been solo fifth place, but instead she tied for fifth place with a trans person.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you is that that has all been inserted into the conversation to dilute from the real issues that we were talking about several years ago, which could have united us. But they don't want that. The crony capitalists don't want us united against them. So they've introduced all these side topics. And you're right.
Yeah, but you understand that's coming from the right.
It's coming from
right?
both sides.
No, look at the We Are the 99%. One of the biggest voices in the We Are the 99%, the Occupy movement, was Tim Pool. Where's Tim Pool now?
He's in the middle still.
No, he's far fucking right. He is nowhere near the. No, he is so far right.
He's not
He
Christian.
claims to be in the middle. There's nothing middle about Tim Pool. Tim Pool found out he could get paid a shit ton of money if all he did was echo alt-right talking
You
points.
could get more money echoing left wing.
No, you can't. The highest paid people in independent journalism are all on the right. Steven Crowder, Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro.
What do you mean? You got The View, you got Bill Maher, you got
Those. First of all, no, I said independent media.
oh, independent.
But Fox News is the highest rated cable news channel. What are you talking about?
That's because
If you're a host on Fox News or you're a host on CNN or CNBC or MSNBC, the Fox News one, they're going to make the most money.
it's the only one of their kind. So
Doesn't
maybe,
matter. They make the
Of course it
most
matters.
money because more money goes to the right.
right. So if you have 5 teams that are all leftist and one that's right, all the right people are going to just fund the right, and all the leftists are going to split the money 5 ways, so it gets distributed differently. But
It
they're
doesn't.
still
If you
making more
take just the
money.
view, yeah, it doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter because then you go to independent media. It does the same thing. You can look at Charlie Kirk's event this week, America Fest. Find out how much those speakers were getting paid. Do we have something like that on the left?
Yeah.
What?
Well, who do you define as left? I guess who do you define as a leftist?
I'm talking about a event
Like-
put on for college kids that brings in right or left wing public speakers, holds an entire weekend of indoctrination.
Yeah, the left does it all the time. Now I don't know how
When?
much they're getting paid.
When?
They call it like I don't know what they call them because I don't keep up. But they have those little meetings where everyone can't even clap; they have to snap their fingers.
That's a poetry reading.
Yeah, you're talking about slam
nobody knows.
poetry?
We
What are you
don't
talking
meet.
about?
We
Is
don't
this slam
meet at
poetry?
places. Yeah.
No, they have events too. I just don't keep up with their events because I'm not interested in it. I don't keep up with the rights events either. I'm not interested in those either.
I'm just saying, man, it just doesn't
Wait.
seem. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Felice.
Oh no, I just wanted to challenge you about the culture wars. I agree. Maybe we shouldn't vote on them, but you're from Central America. Remind me which country again? I can't remember, and I don't want to get it wrong.
El Salvador.
Which El Salvador. Okay. So you're from El Salvador, which is okay. So think about this. I challenge you to think about the colonist mindset, right? You're voting for MAGA, right? The colonist mindset that overtook everything south of here, which was the Catholic Church, forced conversion. This all has to do with culture wars. And your mindset, right? The conservative, I know you. Your mindset reminds me so much of my father. You know what I'm talking about. That colonizer, conservative, Catholic mindset that aligns with those culture wars. And that is something that people don't understand. Why are there so many Hispanic voters that while Hispanics are disenfranchised and demonized about immigration and things like this, and still Hispanic voters align with MAGA? Why is that? It has to do with the colonizer mindset that was inserted into us when we were force converted. Like, do you recognize that, Red Crow?
There might be some truth to it in that most Latinos are mixed. So we're not one
Sure.
big group. So I understand what you're saying because there are
Are you indigenous?
half.
Half, as
I'm
you're
mixed.
saying.
Yeah, I'm mixed.
Mestizo.
Mestizo, exactly. So there's some truth to that in that, yes, there are some colonizer mentality, but what is a good, so there has to be two sides to it, right? There's good stuff to colonizers and there's obviously bad stuff to it. What is the good stuff? Order, right? Infrastructure, that's good. Law and order, that's good, right?
It's not good to enter a country and say either you convert and live the way we want you to, or we are going to unalive all of you.
Right, that's horrible. Right, that's the
I
bad
know.
part.
So what I'm saying, what you sound like is what Ron DeSantis is having to do in Florida, is doing in Florida. Like, let's all sit here and think of the positives of slavery. You know, like, well, they learned some skills. Like, that's what you sound like.
The reason I think Christians think that way, and this might sound funny, but it's kind of true in that there's always good and the bad. So like when for example, Jesus, the reason he wound up in a manger was because the king at the time was slaughtering all firstborn baby boys of the Israelites. So out of that horribleness, we got the story of the manger. Moses was abandoned by his mother into a river to float away. It's
Yeah, but
horrible.
the problem is it's like you dig through the weeds so much to see the good that you forget to fix the bad. It's like you saying like, oh well, Jesus was born, so let's not prosecute. Let's not prosecute the people that were going and unaliving children. Like the problem with the Republican Party is you guys go so far to try and see the good that you don't fix any of the stuff that's been left in your wake. You don't fix any of the problems that you guys created. Like the irony here of talking about colonization while we ourselves are in a country that was colonized, and while we ourselves continue to oppress the people that we colonized, and then the people that we went to other colonies and brought back here as property. Like the irony of you guys looking globally and being like, we got to stop colonization, and not doing a goddamn thing here in America to fix the problems that colonization caused. That's my number one issue. Like, why don't we fix what's here?
In America.
Yeah, let's make this a more equitable system.
So the way MAGA wants to do that is by focusing on the people that are already here, America first, which means no more funding other countries.
No. MAGA wants to stop funding other countries.
Yeah.
Because they don't and they only say that because they don't have a plan to do anything in this country that is going to fix the problems. See, again, you guys misidentify the problem every fucking time.
So,
We're
like,
spending
Trump-
too much over there. We have plenty of money we could spend here, but show me the Republican policies where we're going to spend money here that are going to fix the problems.
Right. And so Trump has created policy. And if you actually watch him now recently,
Yeah.
he talks about building new cities and opening up federal land to allow affordable housing and these new communities to be built across the country.
But he's not okay, but at the same time doing absolutely nothing to fix the fact that corporations are driving up the cost of housing, and that those places that he's advocating for will be paid for by corporations. Corporations will be making money off of that. They will try and buy up all of those houses. You get that, right? He's going to build affordable housing, and he's going to let corporations buy all of them.
So that's
And
what
Red Crow, you know,
Democrats
he
have
said it's completely deregulated housing. That's how he wants to allow corporations
No,
to
it's
have
the
no
other way around.
regulations while building housing. That's the kicker of his freedom cities Complete deregulation.
Hold on. It's the other way around. Now, I have my broker's license, and me and my family, we've built a few homes.
Oh, I know. We've done this.
So the way it works is California, for example, which is where I live, there is so much regulation, and people will argue, well, it's to protect the people. Yeah, sure it is. But what it does is it pushes out middle class investors and only allows large investors like corporations to build. So Democrats.
Who do you think put those fucking rules in place?
Democrats in California.
No, the
No.
corporations.
Well,
the
he
rich
tries to
people,
blame Gavin
the
Newsom.
rich people put these in, they have so much money and influence that they put rules in place that only they can afford to live by.
So-
therefore cutting out. This is what happened to my dad. He was a general contractor. He didn't have the money or the team of lawyers or the team of surveyors to do what he needed to do to get through all the hoops that he needed to jump through. It would be it was cost prohibitive.
Who
The
controls
people that are
California?
the corporations want this to happen.
Exactly. The corporations want this to happen.
Okay, so then vote for progressive Democrats.
But they're the ones who've allowed it to happen.
Not progressive Democrats.
Okay, who's a progressive Democrat in your
AOC.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jayapal.
Give me
Jayapal.
what's wrong with AOC?
Felice, who did you mention?
I said Jayapal.
Jayapal. I'm not familiar with her.
Yeah, she's
Let
one of
me
these
ask you this:
people railing
who
against
on the
housing.
right has even mentioned this? That we need to get that the problem with our housing is that corporations are buying up the housing. Who's saying it?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is not saying that. When?
No.
When did
He
Donald
wants
Trump
to-
point to?
The
When did
reason
Donald Trump point to the problems that we have in housing with corporations buying up all the houses? When did he say that?
Well, I don't know. Okay, look this up, and I don't know which party is doing it, but they're trying to prevent corporations from doing exactly that right now.
Yeah, those Democrats.
That's not
they
what's
just introduced
happening.
that bill.
That's not what. No.
No,
Yeah,
Democrats
that's not
just
what's
introduced a
happening.
bill that would
Yeah.
say that corporations not only can't buy more houses, but they have to sell off the
Yeah,
houses that they
not
have.
Trump.
And there's a penalty,
Democrats.
and this will be voted. Every single Republican will vote against this. Every one of them.
Maybe.
Not maybe. Who's going to vote for it?
Well, I don't know. I have to see the vote first. But yeah, I would agree that they should implement that. That's a great tool to bring back power to the middle class. But then at the
Well,
same
I want to
time,
talk about regulation though, because we talked about this, and you love to say like I'm a broker. Like there are regulations, especially in where you live, and you know this in California because of the fault lines. There's certain ways, and living in South America myself, like down along the same fault line, just farther south, you realize it when there's an earthquake every 5 minutes in South America, and people are just under rubble, and people are digging literally with spoons with boards to get people out because there's no structural integrity along like the largest fault line in the world. There are regulations that are to protect renters, and they are to protect people living inside the homes. Those are things that Trump wants to deregulate. There are the things that protect people living in homes need to be in place. We can't allow contractors, because they've been proven. Look at small claims court. This is what happens. People cut corners. People are in bad situations. Like there's a reason for regulations when building houses.
I agree. Now,
Wait, but I'm looking at this. Sorry to interrupt, because it seems like it's been this has come up before. But I'm checking I'm looking at fact checks that my mods have done before on your claims. Like the California housing market is because of a supply shortage. The problems they're having are because of a supply shortage.
Problems with what?
With home prices and the cost of living.
Well, say I wanted to go build a new home to increase the supply. I have certain regulations that I
Where? Wait, but where?
in
See, the
California.
problem that California generally is having is in big cities. There's no place to build new homes.
No,
We're not
there's
seeing
office
these
space
problems
here.
in like Blythe. Like Blythe is good. You can build a house in Blythe if you want to. You want to go out to like Palm Springs, you want to go to Palm Desert, you can build a house there. Where are you going to build a house in LA? Where are you going to build a house in San Francisco? Nowhere.
Not San Francisco. I'll give you San Francisco, but
And LA.
LA has lots of vacant lots. There's a lot of vacancies in there.
If the further out you go, sure.
No,
The
even in
further
the
out
city.
you go.
Even in the city. It's extremely expensive to buy the land, which is what you're talking about in
Yeah,
a
because
sense
there's
of
a
scarcity.
shortage.
Scarcity. There's a scarcity of land.
Shortage.
So
Shortage.
yeah,
Supply
same thing.
shortage. That's what I said.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Same thing. It's just a better word to say it, scarcity. Um, Shortage works. It's not wrong. So when I say that's a problem, so like the land now costs $500,000. Okay, that's not the government's fault. Obviously, that's a scarcity
That's
shortage issue.
capitalism. Yeah.
Right. Right.
It's because when you commodify housing, this is what happens.
So in 2008, what I saw was a large growth in foreign nationals buying up land cash.
Stop. No, no, not letting you do this bullshit. You can't
I was in the market.
you can't not talk about corporations buying up 30% and now try and
That's
blame it on
recent.
like
No,
foreigners.
that's
It's
recent.
it's foreign people. It's always an immigrant that's the problem.
Well,
Like we
if
can
you let me
address that.
finish,
No, we can
let me
address
finish
the
though.
no, no thank you. We
Well,
can
because you're
address
not
the
letting me
I'm
finish.
almost done. We can address the immigrant thing when we address our shit first. But
Well,
this is the
listen,
Republican way. We got to find a way to blame China.
it's
We
both.
we saw it on the what? Yeah, but on the debate stage for Republicans, for MAGA, for all of you, it's not both. It's never both. Publicly, it's never both.
Well,
Publicly, it's always China.
that it's not anymore. China isn't allowed to actually do that
I
anymore.
said publicly.
Right. So in 2008, you saw an influx of international buyers buying cash. That kept the market kind of afloat, slowly, steadily rising prices. Then they were banned from doing that by their own government, not our government. And then the corporations stepped in. And the corporations have been doing this recently in the last maybe 6 years, 7 years. It's a new trend.
Yeah,
And
it's frightening.
yeah, it's awful. It's horrible.
Well,
I'm
then stop
completely against
voting
it.
for Republicans. What are you doing? If you admit that this is a problem and you also admit that the only people that want to address it are progressive Democrats, why are you a Republican? Why are you
Okay.
clear over there
But
on the right with no representation?
you're specifically saying progressive Democrats, and Biden
Yes.
isn't a
I'm
progressive
not saying
Democrat.
he's more progressive than Trump, but I'm taught you live in California. You have lots of progressive Democrats you could vote for.
Yeah, and yet,
Up and down your ballot, you have progressive Democrats, and I bet you don't vote for them.
so in California, the problems that you're describing have been happening here for 4 years now. Corporations have literally taken over the market and are building apartment complexes left and right. Now, out of 10 apartment complexes, 7 of them are dedicated to affordable housing. 3 of them are dedicated to the market with a percentage in that. So say they build 100, 10 of them are going to be affordable housing within that building. But they're charging for a 2-bedroom $3,800 a month, right? And so now when you factor in
What do you think they could charge? What do
like
you think they could charge and still make a profit?
well, that's the thing.
I bet it's not 3,800.
I don't understand what you're asking right now.
Well, when you build something, like so when I bought my house, I have a mortgage, right? My mortgage was about $2,100. Well, if I was going to rent my house, I would rent my house for like $3,000, $3,200, something like that. Right? I would make a profit. Well, if corporations are buying up all the houses and they demand that they make a profit on every single unit, then it's artificially driving up the pricing. It's adding one more layer of people who need money or who need revenue, right? This is the problem with commodifying people's homes. This is the problem with commodifying houses in general.
One of the
Well, I want to
reasons.
say something. Could I say something really quick? I just want to point out, I think to this point, what Gavin Newsom has doing well, because I think Red Curve, sometimes when you get really contrary and you start pointing out, like, okay, the middle class is being cut out because of regulations. But like was it 2021 or end of 21, 22, Gavin Newsom put in place the mansion tax in Los Angeles. So homes that are sold on over $5 million are actually being taxed at a higher rate. I think that's like one of the points that Gavin Newsom pointed out during the DeSantis debate is he's trying, what the goal is is to use, say, the mansion tax was to fight the problem with the unhoused in Los Angeles, right? There's like, I don't even know what it is now, like over 40,000 people who are unhoused in Los Angeles. The point of the mansion tax and taxing all, homes above 5 million is to directly fight homelessness. I agree with you if you're saying, hey, all these regulations are making it hard for contractors like Jay's dad. That is an issue. But if you're just bringing up that issue just to fight against the left, like that doesn't make sense any longer. Like what we need to do is focus on taxing the 1%, especially in places like California where wealth inequality is so vast.
Um, the mansion tax doesn't affect me. I don't know much about it. I know it's made people sell their homes prior to it being, I guess, activated, and now people are holding. So I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad for the market.
Yeah, that's
Right.
actually what a lot people are pausing, tried to dump off their homes and are now waiting to sell them essentially to avoid the tax. But yeah, that is correct. I was just reading an article about.
Yeah, so it's like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Was that a good move? I don't know. We'll find out in
I mean, it
5
is a
years.
good move because eventually people are going to buy and sell these
Could we
homes, right?
could we just point out why your response to that was that it caused some people to like try and sell early? Do you know why that's your response? Because that's what you were told.
That's what
You were
happened.
like, yeah, it happened sometimes. It didn't happen a majority of the time. It didn't happen most of the time. It happened a few times. And the reason that you know that story is because right-wingers wanted that to be the story.
No, I think I'm just in real estate and we read the news and then that's what
Yeah,
happened.
you read the news. Who do you think was broadcasting that story? That a few people, that like a
The real estate board,
yeah, like yeah, and let's see, what does the real estate board
they're
want to happen?
Democrats.
Do they want people to hold the houses or sell the
Sell.
houses?
They sell. They want them to sell.
Oh, okay. So if something caused a few people to hold longer, it's going to be criticized, right? So they're going to make a bigger deal out of the people who sold early and the people that are holding. But holding keeps prices flat. That's a good thing for people, a bad thing for you.
What do
Your
you mean?
entire industry is, yeah, no, the industry itself is pretty predatory. And you guys need to keep things in place that cause houses to constantly be moving. Because for some reason we need to pay you guys to sell our property. I can sell anything I want except for a fucking house.
You
In which
can.
case I got to give you your percent.
No, you can. You can do
I
it.
just let me just hey, just for anyone who doesn't know, so the mansion tax, it's a 4% tax on properties listed between 5 million and 10 million, and at 10 million above, then it goes up to 5.5%. Just wanted to say that. And that's less than 3% of the homes in Los Angeles. So this isn't affecting a lot of people. It's just simply affecting extremely rich people.
Yeah.
And the real estate agents and brokers like yourself who are getting a smaller cut.
I don't sell properties that big. That would be,
I know. You know what I'm saying.
yeah. That I don't really know much about that because, like I said, it doesn't affect me, and it's just for the 1%. That's like a 1% tax. It's not affecting any of us, that tax, to be honest.
Exactly, and that's the way it should be, I think. Can you admit that that's a great tax, though? The people who should be taxed, right, are going to be taxed, not the middle class.
Yeah, I don't care about that because those people are trading houses like they're trading Monopoly cards. That's how they make their money.
I knew you loved Gavin Newsom. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't
But
hate
yeah, no, I
him.
agree with you. It doesn't hurt us, and that's the way it should be doing, right? It's literally like a game of Monopoly they're playing, and they should be taxed.
It's an extreme game of Monopoly, and they're really good at it. It should be taxed. That's fine. I think we can agree on that.
Okay, so if we agree that that's a good tax, why not agree that we should tax rich people in other places too? Why don't you support a party that advocates fairly taxing the wealthy? Why do you sit there and you keep voting for a party who, by the way, the tax cuts for the middle class are about to expire, but not for the wealthy? And Donald Trump is caught on a hot mic this last week saying not only like, yes, I'm going to be a fascist, but two, I'm also going to give all you rich donors in here a huge fucking tax break. So if you're cool with that, like if you're cool with the rich people being taxed there, you think it's a good idea. Why not rich people being taxed in general?
I think it depends on that rich person. So if you're a corporation that's just like gouging, you get taxed. But if you're a corporation that's helping less,
I'm talking about personal income taxes. I'm not talking about corporate taxes. I'm talking about personal income taxes.
you're saying the rich should pay more tax on personal income?
100%. Yeah, they should pay way more.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it should be taxed on like unrealized gains. It should be get capital gains. Like all of that stuff should be taxed.
The problem I see with that, and it's kind of double sorted because a lot of these rich people aren't spending in the real economy. Like,
Agreed?
they're spending in luxury items.
Right.
So,
They have so much money they don't operate inside of our economy. They have their own little economy.
right. So maybe they should be forced to do that instead of being taxed, is actually spend in the real economy.
Okay, so again, who do you think is going to advocate for that? The Republicans?
I
Like
think
everything you care about, the Republicans are like the opposite on. I don't understand how you're still siding with conservatives. Everything you care about, they don't do a goddamn thing for, and everything that you want to happen, progressive Democrats are advocating for. I cannot figure out how you're on the right.
RTP, find me the progressives in California and I'll look over it. But as of right
Why
now,
no, why don't you?
because I don't want to.
Because I don't want to. I just want to keep voting for the racist ones. Yeah, exactly. You don't. These aren't the issues you care about. If you cared about them, you would know about them. This
Well-
is my problem with almost everybody on the right. You're all fucking lying about what's important to you.
Well,
If
taxing is
these
not
really
important
are,
to me.
if these are important to you, then why don't you know who you can support?
Well, you're saying I should want to tax the rich. It's just fine, but that's not an important topic to me personally.
Okay, gotcha. So quality of how you're getting taxed not important. What is important then?
Like spending on infrastructure that will allow for lower cost of living, focus on
Democrat. Donald Trump ran on infrastructure. He was going to fix everything in this the rails,
so how is
the
California
roads, the
affordable?
airports. And meanwhile, he didn't do anything about it. Joe Biden steps in and passes an infrastructure bill that is way different than what Trump advocated for. He's actually going into communities. He's getting people public transportation.
Why
He's going in, he's making affordable internet.
Why
He's
are people
upgrading these
leaving
cities to make their
California?
quality of life better.
But why are people leaving California?
Jesus Christ, dude, that has nothing to do with this. What are
They're
you
being
talking
priced.
about?
They're being priced out. They can't
No,
afford.
no. We're not switching subjects right in the middle of this.
No,
You
it's not.
said you said infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your party is not going to invest in infrastructure. You know that, but again, like the whole right wing, you guys just want to point to things that you think are bad and complain about them. But when we break it down into how do we fix this, none of the solutions that you ever agree with are on the right. They're all on the left.
Then why is it that conservative cities that I go to have the best infrastructure?
What conservative cities have the best infrastructure?
Orange County, San Diego, San Luis Obispo.
How do they have better infrastructure? What's better about their infrastructure?
It's clean, it's navigable, there's no potholes.
Oh, you mean there's less people?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is
He
San
means
Diego-
there's less unhoused. He considers that
Yeah.
cleaner because of regulation. They literally
We're talking about
herd the
population
unhoused
density.
in LA County to one place in Los Angeles. You know that.
LA County is huge though, because I live in Walnut. Which is LA
I
County.
understand. I'm not denying that.
Walnut
But I'm saying
City
you
is
have a problem with the
extremely
unhoused
Republican.
population in LA, which doesn't exist in Orange County, and you're like, it's
does.
beautiful here because there's no human suffering.
No, there's
like I don't.
well, there's
It very much exists. Police, they're just not allowed to
but
live there.
Either way, you're talking about the difference there is population density. That's the difference.
no. Listen,
Yes. What's the population of San Diego?
I don't know.
What do you think it is compared to LA?
It's probably like 3 million,
It's 1.3.
and LA's like 10, 12 million.
Wow, San Diego's grown.
Yeah, and San Diego is more spread out. You don't have the high rise. You don't have the the same from the early 50s, 60s, 70s, like all the housing projects and the affordable housing. Like you don't have all of that. It's not all slammed together into one spot like LA is. Every time you point to something that's like conservative, what you're really looking at is population density.
So why is LA so dense?
What? Because of how it was built. Because people want to be in LA for a long time. Like you needed to be in LA to work. So if you needed to be in LA to work and you ran out of places to build, then you go higher or you go smaller, and the population is just right on top of each other. Like if you have a house versus a high rise, the population density where there's a high rise is going to be much denser than where you have houses.
But this is all just because of social engineering, right? There are, let's say, unacceptable places for the unhoused where they're essentially herded. Like that, it's just like here in Arizona. Do you see any of the unhoused? People are like, oh, Scottsdale's so nice. Yes, that's because rich people have lobbied police departments, lobbied for ordinances, lobbied for bus stops to not drop off in certain places. So literally the unhoused cannot exist there and have to be in downtown Phoenix. Like this is social engineering. It's not just like, oh, Orange County is just prettier and nicer. They've engineered it that way. They do not want the unhoused there.
Well,
Yeah, you can't really cut public transit to like the heart of the city.
I
There's
don't
always going to be easy access to the heart of the city, but there's not easy access to Orange County.
I don't blame California for having so much homelessness solely on Democrats. We have the best weather, so it makes sense that people come here to survive, and I understand that. Um, I'm surprised they're in Phoenix, to be honest. That's insane. Like it's so hot there.
It's horrific during the summers.
But do you
But
think
like I
these are like
think it
tourists that are just like picking
yeah,
and choosing?
it,
The reason you have a
moving,
problem there,
relocation is a privilege.
wait, the reason you have unhoused people is because they can't afford to live somewhere. And that's what
Mhm.
we've been talking about this whole time. But every time we get down to the policy of what's going to fix it, you either switch the subject or you agree that only the left is doing this. So again, like every problem we're seeing, your side and you don't have a solution for it.
And that's not true. I think our solutions are just different
No, what are the solutions coming from the right to fix this?
to fix which part exactly.
Let's talk about the unhoused.
Okay. So deregulating to allow more affordable housing to go up without needing to pay for solar
Is
panels.
there any evidence that deregulation would lead to lower house prices?
Yeah, it's called
Can you st
Arkansas. It's called
can you
Texas.
show
It's called
Yeah,
Florida.
it's called Arkansas and Texas where there's like vacant land everywhere.
Yes, but what I'm saying is
People
you can throw up a, what's it called, manufactured home without much effort. No one's really going to step in and stop you.
Wait, yes, what are you talking about? Every city still has ordinances. Every county has ordinance.
But they're not as
There's still
extreme as
no. Do you
LA
think
or
in
California.
Arkansas you can just go build a house on the land and nobody's gonna say shit? What are you talking? There's still
Pretty much.
regulation in Arkansas and in
Yeah, but it's
Texas.
limited.
No,
It's
what you're
limited.
yeah, it's limited in that they don't demand green energy. That's it. That's what you're talking about, right?
So green
Energy
energy,
efficiency. Is that what you're talking about?
that's part of it.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, but our planet's in a climate crisis. I know you guys probably don't believe that, which is convenient because if the capitalists keep you believing that there's no problem with our climate, then you can keep advocating for deregulation.
I think there's a pollution issue.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. Either way, like you're just talking about green energy. That's all you're saying. You don't like green energy, and now
Who says I don't like green
all
energy?
of these flowery words. You're saying that the solution by Republicans is to get rid of green energy mandates, and that's going to fix our unhoused problem. Is
It's going to
the prop?
allow people like your father to build more affordably.
No, my father lived in a red state.
So
We
he
didn't
was
have
building
that.
affordably already.
Well, relative. I mean, he did custom homes, so they were expensive homes. But the problem is like he couldn't afford to keep up with all the corporations because he was just a small business. He couldn't buy land. He no longer could buy land because if you these plots of land that he used to be able to buy, they would just be bought in like a corporation would come in and buy the entire area. and then they would make their own plots. And my dad couldn't find plots of land to build on anymore.
What state was he in?
Utah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And have you seen the housing prices in Utah?
Yeah, they've
You seen this?
skyrocketed.
Yeah. And what do you know why? That's a deeply red state.
Tech.
Low tax.
Tech
Yeah.
industry.
Tech industry. There's low taxes there. And so just like San Francisco, when San Francisco had their boom, you lure them in with low taxes and all these people come. And in Utah, unfortunately, there's mountains on one side, lake on the other. In the Wasatch Front, you have the Great Salt Lake and Utah Lake. So you have this small area of land where you can build houses. And guess what? When you moved in a bunch of companies, started paying more money, and you brought in more people, the housing market exploded. I was in real estate in Utah during this time. I used to buy like old, usually homes from people who had like passed away that needed, $100,000 of work, and their kids didn't want to do it. We'd buy those homes, we'd fix them, we'd buy them for 60 or 70 cents on the dollar. Suddenly it was 90 cents on the dollar, sometimes 100 cents on the dollar, because corporations could afford to take that hit, because then they were going to rent them out and they had long-term profits. And they had enough, like it was scalable, so they had enough properties that they can cover their losses for the short term in order for for like big term or long-term gains. That's what happened in Utah. Has nothing to do with taxes, has nothing to do with Democrats, has nothing to do with deregulation or regulation or green energy, has everything to do with affordability. But Republicans are going to spend all day, every day, pointing at San Francisco and LA like those places are unique because they're run by Democrats. Meanwhile, every big red city in this country that is growing, Phoenix has had the same problem. Every big red area in this country that lower taxes and try to get people to come in with their businesses, they're going through the same thing.
It's by design. It's by design because
by the capitalists, by the corporations, by the ultra wealthy.
Both sides.
No, but sure, but by the ultra wealthy. This isn't both sidesism. Again, I've said progressive Democrat a million times.
You know what it is, though? I think we need a separate.
No, I wasn't done. That wasn't the end. I wasn't done yet. We weren't done. We don't need separate. You don't have the courage to vote for progressive Democrats now. You're not going to vote for them later. You're literally voting for the opposite of your beliefs all this time.
No.
Like every solution, you're voting the opposite for.
Well, because I'm not looking for these solutions.
Of course not. Yeah, again, I asked you what you wanted to fix. You said homelessness, we got there. Now we're talking about how you fix the unhoused, and you're like, oh, well, I don't care about this. So again, what do you care about?
The moral, cultural integrity of this country.
There we go.
You just said earlier. Now you're contradicting yourself because you said before, the culture wars are in the way. They're the problem, and now we're switching.
Hold on. It always takes 45 minutes for you guys to be honest. How come none of you are ever honest? 45 minutes later, you're like, hey, yeah, I just don't like the LGBTQ community.
Hold on.
I don't like.
You're
okay. Then what did you mean by moral?
So is it wrong for corporations to buy up land and then charge us a lot for it?
Yes.
Right? Wrong. Okay, so that's a moral problem. Is it wrong for the Fed?
But you just said you don't care about that. So try again. What are the morals you're talking about?
Well, because you keep
No,
interrupting.
I want to know what the morals you care about are.
Yeah, so affordable housing for everybody, but
you
done
just said
through
you didn't care
deregulation.
about that. Hold on. You just said, I don't care about these issues. And I said, what do you care about? And now we're back on this issue? So again, vote for progressive Democrats then.
Maybe I misspoke. Because maybe I was referring to something else you were talking about.
I asked you what you care about. Like what gets you to the polls?
Lowering the cost of living, increasing energy output from like oil and all that stuff.
Oil and all that stuff, or just oil?
I prefer nuclear power.
Oh, we know. Listen, we know. What about green energy?
Nuclear power?
No, I just know that like that's every Republican's like, I like nuclear, and they can say that so that they can avoid the fact that they don't support like green energy. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem. I know. I don't have a problem with nuclear power. You didn't have to say that for me to know you liked nuclear.
Okay.
But again, so do you want to eliminate like green energy?
What is green energy? Because I have solar panels and a battery.
Yeah, so do I.
But I don't know what do you mean by
Do you want to eliminate that?
no?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. What are you
And
talking
who
about?
brought that? And who brought that to you? Is that Republicans?
Obama?
Probably not.
Obama?
Republican.
Well,
Okay,
Reagan
so
and Ford
Democrats gave you
had-
this. Yeah, and Democrats are the ones pushing for new types of energy, right? Progressive Democrats. It's not Republicans that are looking for. I remember Trump running on clean coal, and now he's running on drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, and that's
He
fine too.
didn't say nuclear.
Well, I know. We can't agree on everything
Can
everybody
you?
says.
You haven't agreed on one thing with the Republicans yet.
Deregulate, build new
Deregulate
cities.
what?
So it's not, you shouldn't force people into green tech who can't afford it. You should
Why?
maybe subsidize it.
Why?
'Cause
It
you
is
can't afford it.
subsidized. We are subsidizing it.
How much was your solar panel system?
I think it was something like $16,000 or $17,000, something like that.
What state are you in? That's pretty cheap.
Arizona.
That's really cheap.
It might have been closer to 20. I can't remember.
20 sounds about the average. So my first home was 25K, and this home I'm in right now is 50K with the battery.
Okay.
And the average person can't afford that. So, and I understand
We
that.
had government subsidies for that.
Yeah, it's like $4,000, $7,000. How's that going to help anyone who's poor?
Well, what the government did, they also subsidized the loans so that people can get interest-free loans on these for the first 5 years or very low interest rates going forward because the government guaranteed these loans.
Okay, that still doesn't help poor people.
I'm not saying it necessarily helps poor people, but you're saying that like we should just get rid of green energy and that would solve this problem,
I'm
or
not
green
saying
energy
get rid
or
of it.
green energy requirements. That wouldn't solve this problem. Still, we already did this one, dude. That
It would-
doesn't solve the problem.
So if your father was building a home and he was forced to install solar panels that cost him 30 grand, that's on top of
Yeah,
already taxes.
yes, in some
permits.
instances it's cost prohibitive, but this is nowhere near, even anywhere near the top reason why people are unhoused right now and why housing is unaffordable. You're
It's
so
part of
far in the
many
weeds. And
reasons.
again, I think it's because you're lying. I think it's because you don't want to tell us why you're really voting for Republicans, which is why we're in the weeds right now talking about how price or cost prohibitive it is to put in solar panels in California. And that's nowhere near the top reason why housing has gone up and why people can't afford housing. It's nowhere near the top. It's like number 8 trillion.
Okay, so one of the reasons things have gone up and are not affordable anymore is because we have unfortunately messed with the oil systems. So I know Canada to Mexico oil line was cut by Biden. He
It was
killed
tar sands oil.
regardless. He killed
What do you
the
mean
best
regardless?
because
How is
it's a
how
commodity.
wait, how did the Keystone now the two things driving up housing are green energy in California and the Keystone fucking pipeline? Not corporations buying up all the houses, which we already agreed was like the biggest thing.
That's also a
And
problem.
progressive Democrats are trying to do something about that. Dude, you are going so far out of your way
But
to try and
Democrats already
find
allow it.
reasons to not support Democrats. And I don't know why. Either you don't know your positions at all, or you're just lying about why you vote for Republicans.
Listen,
And I have
just
this
because you
sneaking
keep
suspicion
yelling and
it has
interrupting
something
me,
to do
I'm
with
never allowed to finish
marginalized
the
communities,
sentence.
and you're not saying it.
I'm never allowed to finish a thought with
That
you.
was the middle of my sentence, dude.
Dude, you've interrupted me 1,000 times.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna let. Yes, because if you leave the
So
subject,
therefore, you
then I'm gonna
can't
cut you
allow
off.
conversation to exist.
No, I'm not trying to have a conversation. If you
Exactly,
start
you're
talking
not.
about,
That's the point I'm making.
yeah, good, Red Crow. Can you explain to me how the Keystone Pipeline is somehow related to, or even close to, the top reason of why housing is unaffordable?
I
Can you
didn't
explain
say
that to
it
me?
was one reason. I said there was a
Then don't bring
multitude
it
of
up.
reasons. No, it's a multitude of reasons.
No, no. The Keystone Pipeline literally has zero to do
It has
with housing
a lot
affordability.
to do with
Zero. No, we're talking about tar sand oil that they use to make plastic going from Canada to Mexico and then being shipped out to other countries. And you're saying that because that tar sand oil didn't flow over the God given soil of Americans, that's why housing has gone up Are you out of your fucking mind?
Do
That
you
makes
know
no
how
sense,
much a
dude.
barrel of gas was when Trump left office?
This is tar sands oil.
$30
It's not
a
used
barrel.
for gas. It's used for making plastic.
That's part of it, dude. You're just trying
No,
to
that's
focus
what
on
the
one
Keystone
thing.
Pipeline was.
Cool. That's one part of it. So when you
No,
drop,
it's the only part of it. It's the
that's
only part of the
what about
Keystone
what
Pipeline.
about the line from Canada to Mexico?
The what?
There was another he cut lots of lines. It wasn't just one line, by the way. So when you cut off one line, you're literally telling the
He didn't
commodity.
cut off a line. He stopped it. He pulled the permits, and it had
Look up
already
the
been
one
ruled.
between Canada and Mexico. Stop interrupting, man.
That's the
Like, can't you
Keystone
just
Pipeline.
listen? I know
That's
you
the
can't
Keystone
listen.
Pipeline.
That's one of the lines that he
What's
cut.
the other one?
The one from Mexico to Canada. How many times have I
That's the
said it?
Keystone Pipeline.
How much was
You
a
don't know
barrel?
what you're talking about. It's crazy.
There's more than one
Okay,
pipeline. that
what's
he
the
cut.
other one?
Just look it up. So it was
You
$30
you
a
look it
barrel.
up.
It was
I don't know the
$30
other
a
one.
barrel, and it jumped up to $130 overnight under Biden's administration. And you think
dude,
that's not going to affect?
no.
You don't think that's going to affect the cost?
Until you can explain how the Keystone Pipeline had anything to do with that, or
Commodity
the
value,
other
dude.
pipeline you're talking about, until you can tie that to oil prices, and then you've got to tie that to why housing is so expensive. Dude, housing was rising long before the oil prices went up. You know when housing was rising the most? When gas was at $2 a barrel or $2 a gallon.
Yeah, but interest
When you
rates
saw
were low.
2019, 2020, 2021, that's when house prices were skyrocketing and gas was at its cheapest.
No, that's when I bought.
Yes.
Prices were good.
They were right. Yeah, good for you as somebody who needs to make commission.
I don't know. I bought them for myself.
Okay, well, either have house prices leveled out?
Right now, yes.
Yeah,
it won't
and
happen.
did that kind of coincide with gas prices being high?
Interest rates.
Did that? But okay, now it's interesting. See,
It
this
is
is the
interest
thing, dude. Like you'll tie anything to anything unless it doesn't fit your narrative, and then you're like, nah, it's something else.
The Fed raised interest
No.
rates to lower.
No. We're not doing that again.
That's
You
how
have
it
to
works.
You're blaming oil prices for why housing is unaffordable.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. That's what we were
I
talking
said
about.
there's a multitude of actions that occurred that caused the economy to react a certain way. You just won't let me finish the sentence.
You're
dude.
ignoring all the big ones to talk about shit that barely
I'm not
had
ignoring
anything to do
anything.
with it.
I'm literally
You've talked.
talking about them, but you're
I asked you how we fix it. You said get rid of green energy requirements and we need more oil, and that's going to fix our housing
that's
affordability.
part of it. That's part of it.
How much of it?
Guys, let's tap the screen.
2%.
Let's get to 100K.
You say 50%?
2%.
Okay, so you're focused on the 2%.
But
There's no way it's
2%
2%.
2% there, 2%
Okay.
here, 2%
Well, how about
there.
the corporations buying up houses where we
That's
see
another
directly?
problem.
We don't have to guess. We don't have to guess on if oil prices affected housing availability and housing affordability. We can see that corporations buying up all the houses directly raised the prices and made them unaffordable.
That's
Why don't
also
we
part
do
of the
something?
problem.
Why don't we do something about that since we know for sure that it caused a problem?
Yeah, do start with that first and then move to
Okay,
the
then
rest.
support progressive Democrats.
When I see someone in California advocating for that, maybe I'll look and vote for them, but I don't see that
You
right
won't. I don't think you will. I think
now. Says who? I voted for Obama twice.
I bet. Everybody did.
And then I voted for Jill Stein in 2016.
I know. Okay, so all of these people are against your against MAGA. Like every one of these is the antithesis of MAGA. Like, how did you become MAGA?
Because Donald Trump was literally saying the same things Bernie Sanders was saying.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. See, this is the point. You're just a nationalist, and you heard like some vaguely like nationalist ideas that a lot of people put with Bernie Sanders to like take care of our citizens, and then you just ran with that. But then when he was president, he didn't do anything for like poor people. He didn't do anything to fix wealth inequality. And you're just like, well, he did say once something that kind of sounded like Bernie.
Child credits. He increased the tax that what we can claim as a couple to 25K.
And wealth inequality rose at record rates. So
No,
that
it
shit didn't
How
work.
did I
Yes,
buy
it
a
did.
house during that time? Because
I
I was
said
able to save money.
wealth inequality. I said I didn't
People
say
can't even
your
save
ability
money.
to save money. Your anecdotal experience does not negate the empirical data that wealth inequality rose extremely quickly under Donald Trump. He did nothing to curb wealth inequality, and the largest transfer of wealth in the history of this nation happened underneath him.
Because of COVID.
Yeah, and because of the policies that were in place that allowed these people to take advantage when COVID showed up. Yeah.
Only blue governments had their states shut down for such long periods of time.
Nobody gives a shit.
Right, so you're going to ignore it.
Yeah, I am going to ignore it because
Exactly.
even
You
if
don't
it
ignore-
wasn't
ignore the fact.
even if it wasn't shut down, individuals shut down. And by the way, it's not just blue states. I was a red state during COVID. We were a red state. My mayor who campaigned on his slogan was I support Donald Trump. That was his whole slogan. He locked down our city.
For how long?
Well, it depends on what we were talking about. Like
California was shut down for 2 years.
I know what California did, but again, like that wasn't the reason we had the largest transfer of wealth in human history
Of course
in
there
United
is.
States history.
Only the
No,
big
it's not.
corporations were allowed to operate.
No, that's not why, dude. It's not why. It's because our system is set up to funnel all the money to the
How?
top, and the government was pouring historic record number of dollars into our economy to keep it afloat, and that exposed that in our economy it's set up to flow to the top. That money was going to get there anyways. It might have gotten there a little bit quicker. Well, it did get there quicker because of COVID, but all it did is expose that our system is meant to make the 1% get all of the money. It exposed that. And you guys are like, oh, it's just a one-time thing.
And then when Biden took office, he did it again. He doubled down on what Trump did.
He did. And I wish Joe Biden would do a little bit more or a lot bit more to go after the 1%, to extract some of that wealth and
is
to
the
fix our
1%.
system so it doesn't funnel to the 1%.
He is.
I
the
wish,
1%.
I don't care. I wish he would do something different. I wish that he would listen to progressive Democrats. I'm no fan of Joe Biden.
I didn't vote for Joe Biden.
I didn't ask if you voted for him. I said I'm a fan of progressive Democrats. Those are the only ones fighting against this. And everything you argue is just some dumb little whataboutism. But everything you seem to care about, only progressive Democrats are doing anything about. It's only the progressive Democrats that are supporting your ideas.
What? Name them in California, because I don't know any.
You don't know any progressive Democrats in California. You don't know who
because
Katie Porter is?
Is she California?
Yeah.
What is she? What is she? She's a senator.
She's a congresswoman. She's going to be running. She's
running for Senate now.
So
She's in the
Congress.
House
That
currently.
means she's
in the
only
House.
voted in by her territory, right? Whatever territory she's in, that's who votes her in, right? Because I couldn't vote for Katie Porter.
I didn't ask that. You asked me who's somebody in California. I don't know where you live. I couldn't tell you who your local people are, but I could tell you, if you did tell me that, I bet I could find progressives that would support what you're saying and you didn't vote for them.
Central Coast. Look up Central Coast, California.
Well, here's my question for then Red Crow, like, because here's
Similar
the
to
thing,
this
it's not Jay's job to go find you progressive Democrats.
I know
Like,
it's not his job, but he's
But
being kind
but my
enough to do
question
it.
to you though is like, what is the real reason? Like, let's have a genuine moment, because we both know the answer is not like you just can't find the progressive Democrats near you to vote for them. So what is your real objection?
To what?
Why MAGA? What's the real reason? Because when we talk about policy, it doesn't. I've had the same experience with you. It doesn't seem like that's what's it. It seems like you're a leftist when we talk about policy. So what is the real reason you vote MAGA?
Well, I like what he did with El Salvador. I like how he helped El Salvador out. That was one of the main reasons that him and Bukele worked very well together. He helped a lot of the immigrants get their visas, work visas, to come work here, get paid a fair wage, go back home, make El Salvador great again. He influenced Nayib Bukele to literally drain his swamp, get rid of the oligarchs, get rid of the colonizers from his country, my country, our country, and now that country's growing. Its infrastructure is growing, education system's growing, medical system's growing, and the crime's down to the point where Americans can come and invest now, Europeans can come and invest now, the Asian community can come and invest, Arabs, everyone can come and invest in El Salvador, and their investment is secure. And
I'm
that's
so glad El Salvador is being rebuilt after America ripped it to shreds.
You just
right?
you
In the
did,
80s.
like 20 minutes ago you were just bragging about how
Yeah.
like we didn't allow foreign investment into our country, and now
That's
you're
what I was gonna
celebrating
say.
foreign investment in El Salvador.
Well, you have to think about it
Okay.
this way. An investment is
Yeah,
different
you
than
have to
buying up
you have
property.
to spin it this way is what you have to say right
So
now, because you now are holding two opposing points. In El Salvador it's good, in America it's bad.
It's bad
no,
for,
but this is the
yeah,
real question. Is Trump is listen, I think if you look at Trump, especially when he was president and prior to him being president, he is about immigration, right? Like now all of a sudden, this is the hypocrisy we need to point out. He's like closed the border, he was just saying this weekend, he's bringing the military back from other countries to station the military at the border, which is unconstitutional. And Trump has been pro-immigration in the past, right? He's a businessman,
yeah, he
right?
loves
He's a
immigrants.
corporate businessman. He has helped, he's always been quietly for getting people work visas. So that's like, how do you marry that? Like, one of the reasons you like Trump is because he helped your people get work visas, and their economy is now flourishing. I agree that Trump has always been pro immigration, but my point is he's saying the opposite.
Can I just real
He's
quick so we can
anti-illegal
just
immigration.
real quick so we can come full circle, and I did your homework for you. Um, the committee that released that new legislation about homelessness, and that they wanted to have corporations stop being able to buy houses and sell them back. That was the Congressional Caucus on Homelessness. One of their members is Salud Carbajal, and that is your representative.
Nice.
Yeah, did you
I've never
vote for
heard of
him?
them.
Yeah, exactly. So now all you want to come on TikTok and talk all this time. You've been talking. You don't know who your congressman is. You just vote MAGA. The person that's advocating for all the things that you want is there in your district. They're part of
This
the
is a
caucus
new,
on
this is a new
homelessness, and
problem.
you have no idea. This is like you have no idea
They
that
just
this is
wrote that
happening.
policy. They just wrote
I
that policy.
understand, but you have no idea. You had no idea that Salud Carbajal, your congressman, is somebody who's advocating for these policies. No
Yes.
idea.
And that's a new concept. And
Yeah,
now
because
that I know it, I can look into them and see,
but
well,
you
what else do they do? What else do, it can't just be one good thing they do. We got to
who
look at
cares
everything.
about what good thing they do? Why would you not support this? You said
I
this was
do
the most
support
important
that.
thing.
I do support
Okay.
that.
So you're gonna vote for Carbajal, I assume.
I'm going to look into them definitely now. Salud.
Yeah.
You said
Yeah.
Salud Carvajal. Yeah,
Carvajal.
that's your representative. I love him.
Yeah.
We can
That's
talk. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your guy. Super progressive Democrat that you can vote for anytime you want to. Anytime there's an election coming up, you can vote for a progressive Democrat that you didn't think you could vote for. There they are, right there in your district.
I didn't say I couldn't vote for them. I just
know you
told you I
didn't.
voted for
I didn't say
them.
you couldn't vote for them. I said you don't vote for them. But here's one.
There's one, and this is a new topic, this corporation blocking policy. This is a new topic. And if they're going after
Yeah,
those people, then yeah, they got my vote.
great.
But if they're
Why
like,
do you think Republicans will oppose that?
a lot of them are on corporate boards.
Why do you think? Oh, yeah. Why do you think all Republicans will oppose that?
If all of them do it, it's due to misinformation.
Or they kind of just do
Propaganda.
what they're told, right?
Yeah, propaganda.
Yeah, the corporate overlords say no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your party doesn't care about fixing this issue. They don't care at all.
I think my party doesn't know about that issue, and if they do, they refer to it as 15-minute cities.
Why
Which,
do you think they
if you
don't know about that
if you
issue?
mention 15-minute cities, you'll get their attention.
This has nothing to do with 15-minute cities, but why do you think you're like this is specifically about corporations not buying houses. This has nothing to do with 15-minute cities. The only reason your party knows about 15-minute cities is because your party is full of a bunch of conspiracy theorists, because that's like it's not even like an American policy. I think it was I don't remember if it was the UN or the WEC who put that out, but like that's why your party knows that.
United
Because
Nations. Yeah.
was it United? Yeah, because you guys just are afraid, like you just say Marxism, socialism, 15-minute cities, World Economic Forum, UN, bad, all this stuff, and you don't actually know what's happening right here at home. You want to again scare each other about Marxism and socialism, even though neither of those things are Marxism or socialism.
So you agree that red areas are sparsely populated, right?
No, not all the time.
Not all the time, but a majority are. And
Sure.
there's a reason, because the characteristics of most conservatives is to be a lone individual, lone wolf kind of
Yeah,
thing, right?
the reason they're alone is because nobody wants to live there.
Well, they don't want to live with other people also.
No, nobody
It goes
wants
both
to
ways.
live with them,
It goes both ways.
right? It doesn't because no, because the overwhelming majority of people in this country live in cities. Most of it,
Yeah.
like it's not the city people who are being shunned. And yeah, I'm not surprised that like red people don't want to live in cities where they have their ideology challenged, where they see people like they might accidentally see a Muslim person, or they might hear somebody not speaking English. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like the bigotry moves to the outskirts. That's not surprising.
So we agree that a lot of conservatives live out in the sparse areas, right? For the many reasons. One of those being what you just said, one of them being what I just said. What was the point?
What's the point?
Yeah, I was trying to make a point. Hold on. You made me, because you keep
I thought
interrupting
I
me,
was
guy.
on mute.
You brought up
He's just
15-minute
passionate.
Oh,
cities.
15-minute cities, right. They're against that type of infrastructure because in their minds, it takes away from their independence. Now they become reliant on the system or the corporation
Yeah.
or the government,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, they won't vote for this bill because they've been tricked into thinking that everything is 15-minute cities and that everything, if they vote anything for Democrats, it's going to turn into government control 15-minute city. Yeah, they've been lied to and misinformed over and over and over again to the point where they and you will vote against their very interests because they're so scared of losing their freedom, not realizing that they're just handing over their freedom over and over and over again. But as long as that freedom that they're handing over isn't their guns and isn't at the hands of helping out poor people or underserved communities, as long as that money isn't going to help other people, fine. If we're doing war, that's good. We'll do war.
So you have to think about it this way too. You know lotto winners, how long do lotto winners keep their money on average? Do you know?
This better time, not very
Oh
long.
my God.
It's about 5 years. And why is that? Because they're not.
They've never had money before,
That's
and that
one reason.
statistically, it's been proven. Not just lottery winners. If your income increases by more than 30% year over year, most people can't handle that,
Yeah.
and they just lose their minds and spend. Yeah,
Right. And so what conservatives have seen for the most part is, for example, in the school system, you look at China, who gives probably their students half the money that we get to our students, and yet they're showing great signs of growth in terms of math and reading and all that.
correct. With public schooling.
Yes.
Public and yet we
Socialism.
yeah, socialism.
Yes,
and
you're
now
right.
and Americans are like, let's privatize it.
Well,
or your side, we got to privatize it.
You can let me finish, my guy. So what happens is in America is we keep putting money into these systems, but the outcomes aren't the same. And so when a conservative looks at this, it's not because of a money issue, it's because of a cultural and social issue. So
Yeah, we got a bunch of you people standing up like you can't teach critical race theory. You can't let trans people be in school. You can't let gay kids be gay kids. We got to put Jesus back in school. We get into the war on Christmas. It's because you guys keep fighting these fake social wars with our schools, and you want to do everything you can to pull your kids out of public schools, shift that money to charter schools and private schools and homeschool. Yeah, it's you. It's you guys.
Yes, because we don't want to be involved in a culture that's not progressing despite how much money you throw at it.
Well, okay, well then let's look it up.
You're a literal conservative.
Then
You are
yeah.
literally in a culture
What-
that wants to do the opposite. What are you saying?
Well,
We're
no,
trying
if
to
you-
get you to progress.
If you compare an average conservative to an average liberal, you'll see that the liberal might have like a degree in something, but they won't know how to actually do things in the real life, where the
Yeah.
conservative can do stuff,
Wait,
but then
but you'll
not know how.
also see. Wait, you'll also see them with more money.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they
Yeah,
can actually
they
do
did the smart.
anything.
Yeah, they went to school to get a higher paying job, and then they make money.
Yeah, but then they're not good with that money either, right?
No, not always.
Exactly.
The richest states, the richest people, like the richest cities, are mostly liberal.
So if I went and got my computer science major right now, I'd make great money, right? If I did machine learning, I'd make great money, right? And if I went and became a farmer who produces food for everyone, I wouldn't make money. But that doesn't mean that the farmer is less educated than the computer programmer, right? It just means he can't.
No, it does. Wait, it could.
Well,
It
many
could.
factors go into that.
Well,
Neither of
yeah,
those one
it's a
things.
spectrum
Yeah,
of it's a
but
spectrum, right? So he might be intelligent at writing computer programming code and all that, and good, that's awesome. We need them. But then that same person couldn't grow a tomato if his life depended on it.
Everybody can grow a tomato if their life depends on
You
it.
would
I
be
grew them.
surprised.
You put a seed in the ground and you water it. Tomatoes are so.
What happens when the squirrels get it, or the voles get it, or the birds get it, or the bugs
Bro,
get
we
it?
have YouTube. We literally have access to all of our problems, like almost all of our solutions, on YouTube.
Right. And so you have to
Are you
go and
telling
learn
me
it.
that like liberals won't be able to figure out how to
They
use YouTube?
can. They
Dude,
can.
I changed my I don't know shit about cars. I changed my spark plug 6 months ago. I learned how to do it on YouTube.
Me too. Like I'm not
Okay, then
disagreeing
what are
with
you
you.
talking about?
But the average
This is the argument from conservatives. Like, there's this world where the internet doesn't exist. Yes. Do you know why farming is not valued as much? It's because virtually everybody can do it.
it's also
It
subsidized.
takes no real special learning, but it does take a work
It
ethic.
does require special learning. What do you mean? There's agricultural schools dedicated to farming.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about like farming at your house, not like commercial farming, right? I'm talking about
Homesteading.
farming at your house.
Homesteading. Most people can't homestead. It's actually a lot harder than it sounds.
It's
Yes,
not. It's
it,
remarkably easy if you have YouTube. Remarkably easy.
bro, it's really expensive, and it's a lot of
I
hard
didn't say it
work.
wasn't expensive or that it didn't take hard labor, but
So it's not
it's
easy.
not like you have to learn a bunch of really difficult stuff. You have to
Well,
work your ass off. That's it.
you do
And I
kind of
love
have
that.
to
I
learn.
look. I like homesteaders. I think that's great. One thing that's growing in this country is the amount of leftists becoming homesteaders. Like, there's probably a bunch of leftists on here that have chickens at their house. There's probably a bunch of leftists on here that are growing their own vegetables. In
Why?
my Discord full of leftists, we have tons of people who are talking about growing their own food.
Why? Why though? Why have they
Well,
switched to that
you'd
route?
have to ask them individually. I don't know.
Because they don't want to rely on the system as much. They want to help the
Sure,
environment,
sure,
make sure there's no pesticides in their food.
sure. All things that you can find
leftists
by
can
progressives.
doomsday prep
No, I
too,
know,
Red
and they
Crow.
should. I'm totally for
Dig in a
homesteading.
bunker.
Dig a bunker. Dig it as deep as you can. Without regulations, you can dig that bunker.
Oh dear God.
So one of the reasons I'd like to vote just MAGA, I'm not a Republican. So is I do agree, I do believe I like immigration, of course. We have some of the highest immigration flow in the entire world. I think it's between 800 to a million people a year. And that number didn't change under Trump. It remained the same. But what they're trying to do is protect the
It
border.
went up under Trump. What are you talking about?
Immigration,
Yeah, in 2019, it quadrupled.
more legal immigrants.
Yeah, well, no, legal immigration?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. I don't know what the legal immigration numbers are. I'd have to look.
Under all presidents, it's been
I'd imagine it went up in 2019 though, because a lot of those immigrants were coming from Venezuela, and they were asylum seekers, so that would qualify as legal immigration.
maybe not probably. So, but why is everyone still trying to come here? Is it because of that colonizer mentality?
We destabilize. You know why. Red Crow, you know the
So
answer to this
their
question.
goal
You
is
know
to
why.
flee to the colonizer to sip from the
I mean, yeah, like it's sad, isn't it? Essentially, like, don't look for healing at the feet of those who broke you. But we definitely should not wonder why the people are showing up at our southern border, right? Like, we don't have the history of completely destabilizing everything to the north of us, right? As we do in the south.
And that's one of the things Trump was advocating, is to make their countries great again, to keep.
Well, advocating, but then also doing coups, right?
Yeah, how'd that work for
He did a
Venezuela?
coup in Venezuela. Like, it's like what he's saying and what's going on, it seemed to be two different
So
things. But I
Venezuela
agree, he did say that,
just
sure. And
invaded.
I agree, like, for me, Hispanic woman who's a indigenous Mexican, yeah, I 100% agree. Like, if we want to stop the insane, out of control influx of people showing up at the southern border, we need to stabilize the countries that we destabilize. We need to have corporations enriching rather than essentially robbing the natural resources. Right? I agree. There should be economic partnerships. But don't you think that's globalist? Like, it's okay when Trump says to enrich other countries and to work together, but if a Democrat says that, it seems like you go towards, oh, that's globalism. We only want to help us. We can help others to help ourselves and control the flow of out of control immigration to our southern border.
Can you tell me about a Democrat who said they want to enrich other countries?
Well, I mean,
Well,
there's many,
Bernie.
like, economic partnerships.
I
Go
mean,
ahead.
Bernie Sanders consistently talks about kind of the same stuff even Tulsi Gabbard said about regime change wars and like inserting ourselves. I think that, like, if we stopped inserting ourselves all over specifically the Middle East, yeah, I think does that qualify for making their lives better?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of Democrats that do that. There's Democrat like it. Who is it right now calling for the ceasefire in Israel, Palestine? Who's like it's Democrats calling for a ceasefire, and what are we called? We're called anti-Semitic because we're saying like stop unaliving each other, and they're like, oh, that's anti-Semitic, right? Like
I
it's
see. I
it's
wouldn't.
generally progressive Democrats that are advocating for peace.
That's the thing. I wouldn't call you guys Democrats because you guys are smarter than Democrats.
No, we
That's my
are. We're
point.
normal. We're normal progressive Democrats.
I think you're
You,
just progressive, and there's
I'm a
some people.
registered Democrat, dude. The Democrat is just the party.
Right.
Being a Democrat is not an ideology, just like being Republican is not an ideology.
And that's the problem I have with
I,
Democrats. They
I'm a
absorb.
libertarian. I'm a libertarian socialist. If
Democrats
you want to talk
absorb.
about ideology,
I believe you. Democrats absorbed the grassroots and just, bent them over.
they didn't bend them over. They've went left. When the grassroots came into the Democrat Party, when you had the squad, when you had the Occupy Wall Street people, when they came in, it shifted the Democrat Party left. Remember, we got Obamacare. Like I didn't like Obamacare. I would have preferred something like Bernie Sanders' plan, but we went left, and we continue to go left.
So
Look at
Obama,
look at the policies in the LGBTQ community since the occupiers, since those people, those progressives came into the Democrat Party and started being more loud. It shifts left.
yeah,
And
with
your party did the same thing. The problem is your party brought in that fringe movement, and it turned you all into a bunch of alt-righters. If you want to talk about shifting the Overton window, you want to talk about like bringing in groups into the party. The group that you brought into your party, the MAGA group, the MAGA cult, the one you gave a voice to, like half of them, more than half of them, are just alt-righters, like spewing actual like schmatzy propaganda over and over and over again.
I think both sides do that.
Name one Democrat spewing schmatzy propaganda.
Well, any support for segregation, even if it's voluntary, is
What Democrat is asking for segregation?
there's a few schools right now that are pushing for
I'm talking
self-segregation.
about obviously we're talking about politicians here, not just people in this world. Because I like if we're gonna do that, I could be like, well, let me tell you about a white nationalist group who wants to say like we could do that. I'm talking about the actual politicians. I'm saying people that are elected, that are at the forefront of your party, the people with the loudest voice, they are spewing schmatzy propaganda over and over and over again, almost to a T at this point. I know Felice has a clip of something Trump said this week, but like to a T, just like quoting schmatzy propaganda.
Where he calls something vermin or something like that.
No, it was about the blood, right?
I think he said went back to the poisoning of the blood.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that what you're
Yeah.
referring? Yeah, he went back.
yeah. And I would refer to.
And he gave a shout out to Putin. You know what I mean? Like, he's now just like agreeing with Putin.
Yeah, and most conservatives agree with Putin too, ironically.
No, MAGA does. I don't. I mean, you don't think there's any danger? Do you? I
Yeah,
mean, you have to agree that Putin is doing bad things. He's an
Yeah,
authoritarian,
the
he's a
world's great.
dictator.
Yeah, the world's greatest
subjugating.
man, Mitt Romney, when he ran for president, was
Mhm.
laughed off the stage for calling Russia our greatest enemy. It wasn't very long ago that Republicans thought that Russia was our enemy. And they only became friendly to Russia and they only became pro Russia when suddenly Donald Trump's name was tied in with Russian collusion, and you guys were forced to, because Russian propaganda so closely mirrored yours, you guys were forced to be like, Russia's not so bad. But literally 4 years prior to that, Russia was the number one enemy.
They are to our interest, yeah.
Yeah, but do you agree that that's why your party is so pro Russia? Because Trump worked with them during the 2016 election, or at least people of Trump's team worked with them, and that
I personally think
Russia's corruption was tied to Trump's corruption. So what do? You smear Ukraine.
I think
Start
personally,
calling Ukraine schmazzies. That's what you do.
well, I think personally they're more in line with Putin because of his cultural war against the left.
Yeah, he wants. Yeah, he wants. I agree with you. He doesn't want the LGBTQ community to exist. And again, I will continue to say that I think that's also your position, but you're hiding behind all this other stuff.
It's not that I don't want them to exist. It's that I don't think there should be an emphasis on it the way we're doing it right now. It doesn't do anything. I think we should all have equality and be treated fairly and, have all the rights. Everyone has rights. But there's a level of where, if you look historically, there's been evidence when countries go this direction, enemies from within, enemies from outside tend to start invading. For whatever reason, that
Yeah,
happens.
If we
bigots.
allow the LGBTQ to exist loudly and
That's
proudly.
one
This
part
is
of it. There's a lot of parts
this
to it.
is. I just need you to understand that before you continue down this road, this is straight out of like schmatzy
No,
propaganda.
it's from Harvard
It
and
was it.
Stanford studies.
I'm saying no, 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 no. I'm saying this type of rhetoric, the way that you're saying this, is straight up schmatzy propaganda. You, just because there's evidence of something happening, like you're saying, there's evidence that when countries become more accepting, they get more violent. Correct. Do you know why? Because of people that you like that you vote for. They're so upset that other people are allotted the same rights, the same attention, the same welcomeness in public that they have, that it makes them violent. You're arguing for the reactionaries. You guys both got muted. I don't know if that was on purpose. Right? Like, is that does that make sense? You muted, Red Crow.
Tap the screen, guys. Let's get to 150K. Share the live or push the copy link button.
It says his microphone is unavailable. That's weird. Like when I go to give him access to the mic, it says it's unavailable.
Can you unmute?
That's weird.
If
Except,
you
yeah,
can't, write a comment. Oh, there he is.
we had it for a second. Yeah, if Red Crow asks you to get on a train, don't do it. If Red Crow or anybody else shows up and says, just hop in this vehicle, it'll be good. Don't do
Sorry,
it.
I got a phone call.
Okay. Well, you understand did you catch that? Essentially, I just said like the violence comes from those who do not want to give the LGBTQ community the same rights, the same acceptance, the same welcoming into public that they have, and so they get violent. So Harvard, Stanford, Berkeley, whoever it is that's putting out these studies, they're not saying don't do it. They're saying there's a bunch of bigots that are going to be really violent when we do this. I don't think the solution to that is, well, since these bigots are going to be upset, we should definitely not have equality. I don't know if you remember like the 1950s. I don't remember if you remember the video I was watching the other day from Boston. I think when they were doing busing. I don't know if that was the 50s or 60s. I can't remember. Guess who was there in the streets throwing rocks through the windows of the buses that held kids? Yeah, white Christian conservatives. Yeah. it's deeply rooted bigotry, deeply rooted racism, and when it finally approaches your doorstep, you guys get violent. 70s. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what I would argue on against conservatives who are like that, when they're afraid of like enemies coming from within or without, and it's something that Biden did, which he overturned what Trump put in, like the anti-trans military thing, is to include them into the military so that we're not weak. If that makes any sense.
No.
So the argument you're going to hear from the right is if society continues this way, we're going to become weakened. Something about like beta males.
Weakened. Yeah, well, I hear that all the
Right. And
time.
so
What do they mean by weakened?
they think it weakens the culture. That's their thought, right? So
Yeah, but why do they think that?
they'll say historically that's the way it's always been,
But why do they think that?
because historically that's the way it's been taught.
So yeah.
And so
Yeah, historically,
Because
it's been
conservatives
taught.
are trying to conserve the bigotry that built Western civilization, essentially.
sure, some of them are. So my argument would be
Yeah, white male landowners, right? The Constitution was made essentially for white male landowners. That's who it recognized. And ever since then, white male landlords have had to slowly, against their will, give rights to other groups. And it kills them every time. They have to give another group a little freedom.
sure. So maybe, yeah, I don't know how to argue against that. I don't think there is an argument against that. But what I'm trying to say is instead of shunning these people away, bring them into the military force, arm them up, teach them to shoot, and then we become a powerhouse that we truly are. But then at the same time, that only enforces our imperialistic nature. And so it's kind of like that catch-24. We got to figure something out in the middle. So, for example, if Hitler, if he was smart, he wouldn't have executed all these people. He would have made them part of his country to make the country stronger.
But you get it, he couldn't. You know why? And the Republicans can't do that. You know why? Because their base is racist and their base is bigoted. They can't do this. If Republicans accept LGBTQ people, they will not have their position anymore. In fact, the only person capable of making positive changes when it comes to like the culture with the Republican Party and embracing minority communities, underserved communities, the LGBTQ communities is Trump. He's actually the only one that everybody would listen to. He could use all of his power and all of his popularity for good, but he doesn't.
Well, he was trying to legalize homosexuality across the world.
No, he wasn't.
Look it up.
What?
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I don't know.
That's a great. Okay.
What do you mean
because he
legalize
didn't.
homosexuality across the world?
Trump was for that.
Wait, he was for it or he was trying? There's a difference.
He said he was for it. Did he try? I don't know.
Yeah, well, anybody, of course he's going to say that, but like, again, if you were going to legalize it across the world, that would probably take a lot of intervention. That would be right back to going in and invading other countries to force them to do
No,
it.
it'd be like sanctions, economic policies he could use to kind of enforce it, kind of like we do in America with ESG and all that.
Yeah, so you're talking about, so this was in 2019.
Yeah, 19, yeah.
Yeah. And
Right,
basically,
here's a Reuters article. It says right advocates called Trump's pledge to decriminalize gay sex a lie,
Gay sex.
accusing him of rolling back
Yeah.
protections at home. Yeah.
I would just offer this. Donald Trump, since he left office, has received tens, maybe $20 million from Saudi Arabia. Jared Kushner got $2 billion. I don't know if you know how much you know about Saudi Arabia, but not exactly like a beacon of freedom for the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, I don't think we should be doing any business with them.
Okay, well,
can't
he
even
is.
drive.
He's doing business almost exclusively with them.
Well, both parties have done.
No. Joe Biden is not doing any personal business with Saudi Arabia. Donald Trump is
Guys,
taking
keep tapping the
Donald Trump
screen.
is
Let's get to
literally like
175K.
cashing checks from Saudi Arabia. You know that, right?
I've heard that.
Well,
I know.
it's not even
I
like
know.
it's not even like a rumor. They fund Live Golf. Live Golf has written him check after check after check, and they've overpaid the hell out of it.
Isn't
too.
Kushner a Zionist?
I don't know. I don't know what Kirshner's
Yeah,
personal philosophies
yeah.
are.
I mean, he supports Israel, yeah, the creation of Israel and all of that. I believe so, yes.
It's weird.
Yeah. See, again, how come
I
every
mean,
time we get
Kushner's a
down,
nepo baby. Kushner supports. You know
how
what
come
I
every
mean?
time we get
Kushner-
down to an issue, it's always like we prove that your side is not going to take that, like they're not your side, and then you just move on to the next thing. Like how many of these do you think we need to do before you realize that the Republican Party literally just like stands for bigotry and that's it? So that's the whole thing. The whole thing is just bigotry. They stand for nothing else.
I don't think that's true because every Republican I've met has been very kind to me.
Yeah, well, guess what? If you support their ideas, they are very kind to you. But I can tell you, I run in Republican circles, and I tell you, I run in like wealthy Republican circles, and I can tell you the things that are said behind your back are not the same as the things that are said in front of you.
I hear it from wealthy people, period. What you're saying.
In front of you. In front of you.
Wealthy people in general are on a different level and will say bad things about both anybody from what my experience is.
All right, brother. I'm just telling you my experience.
Yeah.
I worked for the GOP. I grew up in a Republican state. Like I almost everybody in my life is a Republican. I can tell you what Republicans think about minority communities. I can tell you what Republicans think about the LGBTQ community. They still say it.
Well, like even within my own community, I would call it classism or culturalism in that, for example, my family, there's no gang members, there's no affiliation to that. And therefore, when a gang member passes, we're not out there marching for them because FAFO, right? Whereas like the cultural left tends to defend even criminals, and we have a hard time.
Yeah, criminals against criminals, right? This is the dumbest thing. Like, are there sometimes people that we march for that when they lose their life that committed crimes? Yeah, that doesn't mean they deserved to lose their life. That's what we're marching for. The police brutality, the police using excessive force because of crimes. What do you think? You think the police are just going to go out and, like, can we only march if the police show up, raid a home where nobody has ever committed a crime their entire life? They don't have any cousins, friends, ancestors who ever committed a crime. They didn't vote for somebody who committed a crime. They're completely clean. You can find no dirt. Is that the only time people are allowed to march against police brutality? Or is it okay that people march for police brutality even if the person that the police brutalized had also committed a crime?
I've seen people march for the second example.
Can you answer my
never
question
for the
though?
first.
Can we march? Yeah, because the first one wouldn't happen. Because the first thing that happens when the police are in the news is the right wing starts smearing the victim. They find anything they possibly can to make that victim look like a criminal and dehumanize them so that you can continue to bootlick for the police. But just once, could you guys recognize that even somebody who's committed a crime deserves to live?
Yes.
And why is it a problem that people march when police take the matters into their own hands and unalive somebody who may or may not have committed a crime, but that crime did not warrant their death? Is that okay? Is that okay for us to march for that? Or can we only march for people who are 100% morally clean? And by the way, I saw a lot of you motherfuckers marching for Donald Trump on January 6th, and that guy's morals are way more, his list of crimes, his list of morals, those are as fucked up as anybody. But you guys can sure as shit march for that guy, and we're supposed to call you patriots. We're supposed to just say, they just care about America.
Yeah, the difference is when the left marches, they go and target, like, literally stores, Target, Walmart, all that crap.
No, they don't,
When
dude.
the
That's
right-
bullshit. We're talking at less than 3%. There were Black Lives Matter rallies all across this country.
Right.
Less than 3% of them had any sort of damage to property. But you guys
they did,
only
right?
talk about the 97% of the time, nothing happened. And you say things like, well, when the left marches,
But they
they
did, right?
target buildings. No, they don't.
But
They
they
almost
did.
never do.
Never, almost,
Almost never.
almost, but they did.
Yeah, and you guys broke into the Capitol.
Right.
Do
We
you,
went
you think
straight
that
to the
you
problem.
guys ran through people with your cars in
That
Charlottesville?
was one idiot who was
It was
crazy.
two. We have somebody that's probably in this live right now who had a protester try to drive through a crowd, and they stopped the protester, told them to leave, and the protester shot them. If she's here, her son is no longer alive because your party didn't want to be told that that the police were brutal. They were marching peacefully. He's not alive anymore. I'm much more worried about that than like a building who had some windows smashed in and some things taken out of their store. But again,
My
show
point,
me the right marching somewhere that didn't end in violence recently. Just show me one. You think 97% of marches by the right were peaceful? I would doubt that.
I'm not arguing they're peaceful, but they went straight to the problem. They didn't target stores and
What do you want? What do you
communities.
want us to do? What do you want us to do? Go into the police station?
They did do
You want us
that.
to raid? Is that what we should have done? Raid the
Democrats did
police
do
station?
that.
We did it. No, it. See, this is the
And that
thing.
was
You're
cool.
now going to use. Hold on. You're going to use like a one-off, and you're going to say that Democrats did that, dude. The way that you. This is why I think
They
that
did
you're a
do it.
liar. This is why I think that you're a liar. Because you will frame everything the Democrats do as evil, despite the
No.
statistics being the exact opposite, and you will not admit that the only thing you vote for is bigotry.
So like,
You're like, I like the bigotry of the Republican Party. I like them taking the rights away of other people, but I know that's unpopular. So I'm going to come up with a million other reasons to pretend that I don't support the Democrats because of this. But the real reason is you don't like us because we're not bigots,
so
and that bothers you guys.
so when the Democrats, recently the protest against Israel and Palestine, they went to the DNC, which I 100% approve of.
Oh, of course you do. Of course you do.
Well, I mean, that's who's going to help change it, right? The DNC, not Target or
You're not
Walmart.
addressing what I said, so I'm going to stop you. Again, you keep referencing these one-offs as if that tells the story of Democrats or progressives, and you're using like the tiny minority of instances versus the overall majority of peaceful protests where people just want. The reason they protest in the streets, the reason they bring mass numbers is for attention.
Yeah, and that's fine.
They want the news to cover it. And if they cover it and it's peaceful, that's better for us. So we try to be peaceful.
That's fine.
But you won't address that. You'll only address the times that they weren't peaceful as an excuse for you not to vote for them.
No, I don't care if they're not peaceful, but if they're not gonna be peaceful, do it in the right place, like at the police station, at DNC, at the White
Nah,
House.
that's silly. That's silly, dude.
Why?
That's so silly.
Why?
Because again, you're focusing on the tiny majority. The tiniest of tiny majorities. Because you're not intellectually honest. And I think it's because you know for a fact that you're just a bigot. This boils down, and you alluded to this earlier and you're running from it again. You like Republicans because they don't like the LGBTQ community. That's why. That's your whole story. That's all you're voting for. And if you were honest, you would just say it. Did he leave or did he get
Well,
kicked?
I think for you guys is, or maybe Jen, but I didn't get rid of him. But yeah, I think for your first time meeting, that's about how it goes.
It just drives me nuts that we have to do this every day. Like Republicans are such
cousin.
they're such cowards when it comes to just telling us what they really believe. You don't want to be called bigots? Then like stop acting like it. Stop
Is this
pretending like
this-
these fringe elements are what brought you to the party. It's bigotry. You just really like the bigotry.
Okay, I'm gonna bring someone up, and if they're not an op, I'm just gonna drop them. But I just have to check. Hello.
Yeah, this guy needs his teeth knocked in.
Oh, I knew it was probably okay.
Fucking, he's up here
Oh, is that
calling
me?
people bigots, man. Where's your fucking
Yeah.
proof?
Oh, that
know
guy
what
was
a
a
big-
bigot.
what
That
the
guy said
definition
he
Where's
was a
your
bigot.
fucking proof, man?
he said
Where's
he
the
was a
proof
bigot.
that all Trump
Why
supporters
are
are
you yelling?
racist? Where's your
I
proof?
didn't.
It's
I didn't say
misinformation. You're
that.
just talking
No
out
one's
your
even
fucking
saying
ass.
that. Listen, stop talking really quick. A
Talking
bigot,
out his
a
fucking
person
ass.
who is. Let's just get on the same page because I think you're unclear about what the word means. A bigot.
Yeah.
A person who is obstinately or unreasonably attached to a belief, opinion, or faction, especially
you're all
one who is
bigots too for
prejudiced. Let me
believing in
finish.
liberalism,
You
right?
are literally embodying the definition. I love how you're I'm like, good job. You're embodying the definition of it. A person who is obstinately, that's stubbornly or unreasonably, like you are right now, attached to a belief, opinion, or faction, especially one that is prejudiced. That's all it means.
So the guy hosting isn't a bigot for his beliefs? He's stuck on an ideology, right?
What beliefs do you think I'm? Yeah, we could talk about it. What beliefs do you think I'm stuck on that would be bigoted?
Pedo Joe's. You know he's a pedophile, right?
Okay.
Don't
so
say
there
that
we go.
word on TikTok. You already know that, and stop. Like, no,
Pedophile.
we absolutely do not know that.
He's
That's
just
a
trying to-
false
You
narrative.
see the
Listen, and
videos.
as somebody
You
who,
see it,
as a
groping
child,
children, right?
was a victim of SA. No, let me just say something to you about this. I want to address this. As a child, I was a victim of SA. This is a real problem. Trafficking and SA, familial especially, because that's who abuses children, are people who already know them and have a familial connection statistically. So you making light of that is offensive. There are children that actually need help. There are investigations that need to happen. And you know how what's going to happen and what's going to increase this problem is defunding the people that are responsible for these investigations, such as the FBI. So if you care about the children, right, this false narrative that we always hear about Republicans, you shouldn't defund the organization largely responsible for investigating these horrific crimes. Sorry, I just have feelings about that.
No, I appreciate you. I was just going to let him know you're muted there, Chief. All that talking you've probably been doing, we didn't hear.
I have to go to the restroom.
I wasn't talking. I was listening to the typical garbage.
What was the typical garbage of her explaining that she dealt with that like as a child, and that statistically the person who abuses you is most likely to be a family member? Like that.
Yeah.
That's not typical garbage. That's just stats.
But it doesn't mean Biden ain't out there doing it. You see the videos. Come on.
Yeah,
Admit
I've
it.
seen videos of Biden sniffing people's hair.
Okay.
I don't. That's not the same
and
thing.
the video of him and the girl in the red dress as he cups her tit. You know, come on, it's clear as day.
Bro, I think it says a lot more about you. That
Yeah.
you just referred to a young girl. You just said tit and young girl in the same sentence. That says a lot more about you. That you speak like a young girl like that, bro. What's up with you?
You're just deflecting off. Biden.
That's crazy.
You're just deflecting off of Biden.
I'm not deflecting. If Biden's convicted of anything, but I'm saying that you just said tit and young girl in the same sentence.
So did you.
And you're
You
laughing.
just said
and
it too.
And yeah, I'm repeating you. And you're laughing uncomfortably right now. And now you're gonna do this thing because what's happening right now inside of you is you're boiling because you just got caught sounding like a real creep. And you're going to try and laugh and pretend that you didn't, but you did. What you just said is far more creepy than any video I saw of Joe Biden.
I bet.
That was disgusting.
I bet, huh?
Yeah. Like somebody maybe ought to check up on you.
Maybe someone's check up on you over here acting like you fucking know everything. Calling people bigots with no fucking proof.
Well, he was a bigot, and he
Was he?
proved it.
Where was your fucking proof?
Well,
Just
he
because
said
you
that
say
he-
something, it's facts
he said,
now?
He said he
Just
was.
because you say something, it's true.
No, because he said it.
Yeah.
He said he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He said that it would be the moral degradation of our country because of the LGBTQ people. That would lead to the moral degradation of our country.
Our moral degradation of the country's been downhill for a long time, bud.
Yeah, he's a bigot. I'm sorry that offends you, that your friend, your comrade in MAGA is a bigot, but you should get
You
used to it
fucking
because
sit here and
there's
speak
a lot
for all
of them
supporters
there.
like you fucking
No,
know
I
them all.
was speaking
I grew
to
up
him.
Republican, so I know.
I did, and I was elected by the party.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
Well, you can look it up. People have looked it up before. I've been fact checked this on a million times.
Yeah.
Like people know that that's true. I was the precinct. Yeah, I was the precinct chair. I was a state delegate.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, you have a video of me on your page?
Yeah,
You make videos about me?
Spreading the news.
Thank you.
Spreading the
Thank you,
news.
my friend. I bet they're not bigoted at all.
Did you
I bet
already
they're
ask,
very
are you
kind.
from Utah? 801?
And it's what it says, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm just asking.
I mean,
I went to university in Idaho. I just know the area. Whereabouts in Utah are you from?
unfortunately,
Just the
Democratic Salt Lake. Blech.
You think
Salt Lake
Democratic,
is very
the most
democratic.
liberal
For real.
place
Rural
in
Utah.
Utah. That's so
Rural
funny.
Utah is red. Salt Lake is Democratic. Look at the map.
Yeah, that's
Is
true.
that-
That's true. Salt Lake City. Yeah, I mean not Salt Lake County necessarily. It's pretty purple. How did he get? He get booted?
I really enjoyed him. Come back and play with us. So what is the video on his page? Tell me what's going on.
I don't know. Somebody just in the comments said that he has videos of me on his page. I have no idea.
Well, Big B, if you didn't, glasses. I should wear glasses like that all the time. If you didn't get reported, please come back. You're welcome, right? Nobody booted him, correct?
I don't know. What did Discord? Oh, somebody said check Discord. Oh.
I can't even get to the
Moral degradation guy has pictures in Vegas just like groping people on Fremont Street. Moral degradation guy's real worried about our morals. You can report me, that's fine. I don't know why I'm getting a
Guys,
question
everyone
mark.
calm down. Like, I've never reported someone in my life. Like, it doesn't, I don't want us to get so focused on, like, trying to report people or not report people. Like, I think that's.
Oh, he calls me a groomer? He
Oh,
says I like
I
to
just
hang
saw
out at
that.
children's
Okay,
playground.
that's something
I'm
different.
scum.
That's different.
Let's listen to it. Let's see if I can open it up.
He
What
was
did
saying
say
a lot
about
of things in the comments. I saw that.
me? Yeah, it's nice to have fans. It's just nice to have fans. That's crazy. It is funny. I usually don't check like where I'm tagged. Why was it not pulling up? That's weird. I won't play.
I don't either. I'd have a nervous breakdown. Cody or Christopher, who are requesting, are either of you guys opposition? In the comments, just let me know if you guys are opposition. Guys, tap the screen. Let's get to 215K and share the live. If you are a Republican, we just want to have a conversation, right? We don't need to report you. You don't need to report us. Let's just have a conversation calmly about the facts.
True. By the way, I
It has
regularly
nothing
am.
to do with anything.
I regularly am at playgrounds with my daughter. He's not wrong about that. We go multiple times a week. We go to the playground. It's fun. Usually nobody's there, but every once in a while there are other children there. And oftentimes I will say hi to their parents, and sometimes I'll even say hi to the child, and I'll smile if they do something funny. So he's right about me. I do enjoy watching my daughter play with her friends, and I do like my daughter. So thank you for pointing out that I'm a good dad. I appreciate that. Did we get any Oppo in there? Where is your friend you host with? Right there.
Hi.
That's my friend.
Me.
I don't know who you're talking about. I've never hosted with anybody besides Felice. I mean, there's been times other people have been up with me, but this is the first
Oh,
host.
Whisper. Are you talking about Jake? Maybe.
Maybe.
Guys, again, the link to merchandise is in our bios. If anyone wants, as long as we're talking about Jake, who does all of our merch, our in-house artist. He is so talented. And if you want anything custom, you can just also reach out to him because there's pretty much nothing that he can't do.
True. Except for, never mind. I'm not going to say that. I was going to say except for, because the first
I was like,
time
whatever you're going to say, don't say. Oh, can I
First time we
play a
ran a YouTube
Carrie
Live.
Lake clip from America Fest
Please.
while I know we've been talking so long, we're kind of off subject, but I feel like this day cannot go by without me. So just like I said, Carrie Lake was at America Fest last year, claiming to have won the governorship of Arizona.
Why do you think she wasn't there this
and
year?
Carrie Lake?
Yeah.
She was.
Oh, she
That's
was?
what I'm
Oh,
about
I
to
haven't
play.
seen any clips. Oh, this
Yeah.
is a new one?
Her speech.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
this
I didn't
is-
think she was there.
I'm going to play you Carrie Lake talking crazy talk. That's what this is about.
Thank you, Danielle. Someone's doing hashtag daddy issues.
We've accomplished a lot in the last year. And you might say, wait a minute, Carrie, have we really? And yes, we have accomplished a lot. Yes, we have, because we stayed in the fight. We have shown not just Arizona how they are trampling our sacred vote, how they are rigging our elections, how they are sabotaging election day. We've shown the whole world how they're doing that. And this is where the battle is, in waking people up into what our elections have become. And so because we've had the will to stay in the fight, we have continued, and our cases are still moving along. And it's funny, we've accomplished a lot in the last
So
year.
this woman has defrauded. I'm so listen. You want me? Oh, I love it. Fruit dance. Thank you so much. If you, this woman, if there's one thing, MAGA, don't give these people any more money. They have robbed. Carrie Lake has robbed you. I watched the first lawsuit when she was, about her being governor, and that trial that was filmed live. I watched the entire thing. The judge was so nice to her, so nice to her lawyers. I mean, he literally just kept saying, like, just okay, here is the time for the evidence. Someone's fingers getting sore. Great job. Just keep tapping the screen. We want to get to 250K.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So, and the judge was just like, please, this is the time. Like, where is the evidence of the election fraud? There just wasn't any. The case had no evidence. And if Carrie Lake cared about the people that support her, MAGA supporters, she would have stopped taking money from them. She used that to survive a whole year. She grifted you guys about a case that has gone absolutely nowhere, and now loaded up for her Senate campaign, right? And is now running for senator in Arizona. She claims to be the current governor of Arizona and has grifted people about a lawsuit that went nowhere to now fund her Senate campaign. How can she be the governor of Arizona and run for Senate? Make it make sense.
Well, that's what Jesus wanted. Okay, that's
She
what.
should just have both jobs. She can do both.
Yeah. Oh, God bless Carrie Lake, and God bless any of you who send money to these people.
Oh, we need to play a Steve Bannon clip too. There are so many America Fest things.
I was so excited for
Alina
America
Habba's-
Fest clips.
Oh my God, it's so crazy.
I'm gonna be honest.
Alina Habba also is making her transition from terrible Trump lawyer, you know what I mean, to like right wing, like loony personality.
She's gonna be up on my
She
list.
was crazy on stage. She's like Kimberly Guilfoyle, like type crazy mixed with like, Habba was on a roll. Hold on.
Where did Habba come from? I know what she does, but how did she wind up as Trump's attorney? And like, how did
Roseanne? What about Roseanne?
Roseanne reminds me a bit of Marianne Williamson. Pro tip.
Can we play that clip of Roseanne?
Please.
Can we play that?
Yeah. Do you need me to play it?
I'm saying, like, we won't get in trouble, right? I mean, she says some. Okay, I don't know. Whatever. This is Roseanne. We'll play Roseanne first.
Okay.
Roseanne lost her mind.
If we don't stop these horrible communists, do you hear me?
You got a mic, lady.
I'm asking you to hear me.
Stalinist. Commies.
Communists
I should have been there for this.
with a huge helping of Nazi fascists thrown in.
Just the two people warring each other.
Yeah, completely different end of the spectrum.
Won the caliphate.
Caliphate. What?
Wait.
Just yells
To
caliphate.
replace every Christian democracy on earth now.
Wait, can you pause it for 1 second?
Occupy. Do you know that?
What'd she say?
Occupy.
Oh.
Occupied. Yeah, I mean, she wasn't all, she was just yelling words, and people were like, at the end of her speech, it was just dead silence.
I want to make sure we have this correct. So the communists, the fascists,
Commies, yeah.
and I assume she's talking about the
Stalinists
and Muslims are all coming together.
Something, but yeah, the
That'd be the
caliphate.
caliphate, right? That's like a Muslim. It's the political religious state comprising the Muslim community and the lands and peoples under its dominion. And
Yes.
Yeah. So all of these people who historically have been at war with each other came together as the Democrat Party to and what are they then? Are they just the Patriots?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Against the good guys, which are, I think, the Christian,
Yeah, if you are
the Christians,
if you
the
are a
Christian nationalists.
if you are a group that has learned to coexist peacefully, and your group is made up of four parts: the communists, the Stalinists, the schmatzis, and the Muslims, and you have figured out a way to coexist, come together as one group, uh, that's pretty good. That's a compliment. I don't know what we're afraid
Yeah.
of. It seems like it seems like this group she's afraid of has figured out world peace, and she's like, "Oh, I can't do that. I can't do
But
that."
isn't that the gripe of the Christian nationalists who want just nationalism, close the borders? They cannot stand finding common ground, empathizing, seeing other people's positions. Then we go into, oh, the globalism. Too many people are working together. But to your great point, it's, oh, we're all worried about the caliphate. But if Trump wants to do business with the Saudis, then everything they believe goes out the window. And that's good business, right? He's fine. But if it's anyone else working together with someone, nope.
So
It's a conspiracy.
it's these specific people that make it so important for us to continue to like echo the message of fascism. I see right wingers, maybe some specific ones who have targeted, like tagged me, not targeted, tagged me in their videos, saying that like us saying fascism is a scare tactic. It's not. It's not a scare tactic at all. The thing is, do you really think Roseanne Barr, Charlie Kirk, the people at America Fest, do you really think if Donald Trump said, "Hey, we're getting the military, we're gonna run out all the opposition, we're running them out of this country," do you think they would go along with that? Absolutely, because they've been convinced that it is for a holy or a just purpose. This is why we're afraid of it. It's not because like somebody says fascism so they should be canceled immediately. It's because there are enough fascists to get Donald Trump elected if he can win, like if he wins the Republican Party and all of you just go along with it. And then there's enough of them who will force you to decide, am I going to go along with Donald Trump and the military and the fascists, or am I going to be a victim of Donald Trump and the military and the fascists? That's what we're afraid of. I'm not predicting that would happen. I do have more faith in our government and our populace, is that how we say it? Populace, that we would shut this down. But that's why we're sounding the alarm, because there are a lot of people like Roseanne Barr. They might be able to be a little more eloquent, but they think that way. She was there as a guest for a reason. These speeches are written down and put on a teleprompter. Nobody was surprised at America Fest by what she was saying. Confused? Yes. Surprised? No.
And like you always point out, like Donald Trump is not screaming, "Oh, hi, I'm a fascist. Here we go. Follow me." That's why we're always hammering the points that Pragmatics wrote that excellent paper on the 14, echoing the 14 tenets of fascism. I can't remember his name right now, but that he posited. And that's the point, right? Like it's what's her name? Ruth Ben-Ghiat, the historian from NYU that wrote the amazing book Strong Men, right? It's when the economy gets scarce, late stage capitalism sets in, you're looking for a strong man to save you who is a fascist, right? But that's why we're talking about, here's the tenets of fascism. America Fest was literally a rally that, if you don't like the word fascism, the tenets that define fascism, those were the talking points of America Fest. Whether you like it or not, those were the facts.
Well, and you see, like, the people that are like, well, we just need to get a Democrat out of office. We just need to get Joe Biden out of office. Like, that's why they're campaigning the way that they are. That's why Republicans are campaigning on grievances. That's why their entire strategy is to take down Joe Biden and make you guys think that Joe Biden and the Democrats are the problem. Because if they campaigned on what they actually want to do, some of you would figure out it was fascism. So what they have to do is make you believe that fascism, or look the other way and just pretend it's like micro-fascism that'll go away, that micro-fascism is a better option than Joe Biden. And that's the entire Republican platform. Scare people with buzzwords like caliphate and socialist and Stalinist and schmatzy. Communist. Yeah. Put them together in a way that makes no fucking sense, but it doesn't matter because you did all the buzzwords. And so you're like, oh, Joe Biden is somehow all of those things. and we have to protect ourselves against all of those things. And so we must vote for Donald Trump. That's why this campaign is like this. The outward appearance is just grievances, and then behind the scenes, when you look at the legislative policy that they're advocating for, like that's the fascism. But nobody reads that except for nerds. So they're just going to keep you guys believing that they're fighting the good fight and that it's a noble cause. Meanwhile, they're literally just planning fascism behind closed doors. And unless you guys figure it out, they're good.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like fascism, when you look at the tenets, like sure, it will affect minority groups first, underserved communities, and people with uteruses, women. These are the people who will be first affected. But the whole point is it's a land grab, it's a money grab. We're all being robbed. Even the white male landowners who will be affected by it last. It's still about consolidating wealth at the top of the economy, not including you, so that by the time you realize what's going on, it's too late. It's affecting us all. Even if you're the last group that will be affected by it, we are all getting robbed.
Yeah. And it's important to, I think it's important to remember that like it's just opportunistic, that the people with the money who want to keep the money, like they see. That's why you're starting to see. That's what Elon Musk did. That's Elon Musk's shtick right now. Elon Musk, not a good guy, probably a white nationalist, but he sees the protection from the Republican Party. He sees that the Republicans will not only protect him from like being completely canceled, but will also protect him when it comes down to it, so he can keep his money and he can keep his power. They elevate him as a thought leader. Like he was shouted out by Vivek, like Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson. That's what they want.
Vivek was so out of I don't even know what to say. Oh, you know what we should go over since we're going over America Fest clips? Did you see the one Marjorie Taylor Greene go after Lindsey Graham last night? He went on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker and accidentally told the truth, as we all know. And if you're a Republican and you accidentally say, "Oh, there's no evidence,"
yeah,
for an impeachment inquiry or whatever, right? You get attacked. And so Marjorie went after him at America Fest. So
do you have that
here
one?
is, let me just, here's, oh yeah, I have both. So I'm gonna play. I'll play the clip of Lindsay really quick. Hold on, I have both. So this is Lindsey Graham on Meet the Press yesterday.
Okay, let's turn to the other big story on Capitol Hill, the impeachment, of course, of impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Your colleague, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, said that he does not see any evidence, quote, that the president is guilty of anything. Do you agree with him? Is there any evidence so far?
You know, I haven't really been paying that much attention to it. They have to prove that President Biden somehow financially benefited from the business enterprises of Hunter Biden. We'll see.
Have they done it yet, in your mind?
If there were a smoking gun, I think we'd be talking about it, but...
Okay.
So just that moment, right? Just saying, hey, if there was a smoking gun, if there was anything, wouldn't we be talking about it by now? So you say that, and here's what he got as like his punishment, essentially. I mean, how many? That's why I say Lindsey Graham is the ultimate in terms of he has a degradation kink. There's no other way to explain why Lindsey Graham likes being publicly shamed so much.
Well,
it's nonstop.
He's also the guy that's like, he's on record of saying Joe Biden is literally like the greatest person he's ever met. Like I don't know if you remember that quote. He's like, Joe Biden is legitimately like the best person I've ever met and been around. So it's like, it's probably pretty tricky for Lindsey Graham now to be like, oh, the best person. Yeah.
He was great friends with John McCain, great friends with Mitch. Yeah, who John McCain was Lindsey Graham's old leash holder.
How can Lindsey Graham in Washington, D.C. on Meet the Press say that he hasn't seen a smoking gun of evidence? That he doesn't think that we produce enough evidence to impeach Joe Biden? Let me ask the American people.
People at America
Fest. That we have produced enough evidence to impeach Joe Biden?
People yelled. No.
Yeah, it was lukewarm. It was lukewarm.
Half of the audience literally.
Wait, I want you to keep going because she's going to now explain what the evidence is. And she's just going to name things that exist. It's not evidence. It's just like, it's things that exist. And she's going to claim this is their evidence. Like,
well, I think somebody better run for senator in South Carolina.
Oh wait, doesn't she list or did she already list
Oh,
it?
no, no, I don't think she does list it. She just asked the crowd, or in this clip, if she did,
It
I
was
didn't hear
earlier.
that part of her speech.
Can we play the last
But
5 seconds where she writes that pre-written joke and the crowd just like nobody
what
gets it.
joke?
I think
You need
somebody
to.
should run for Senate in South Carolina. The end of that.
Oh, you want me to play
Yeah,
that?
just listen to the crowd as her joke and look at her pose. She goes hand on the hip, big old smile. She's the only one that laughs, and I liked that part because her joke writer, whoever wrote that, thought that was going to bring down the house.
On Meet the Press.
I can never tell if people are
Well, I
writing
think
this crap or
somebody
not.
better run for senator in South Carolina. How can
I love
Lindsey
it.
Graham and
Can we,
Washington?
Just awful.
can we also point
The
out that they
best clip though
stole?
of Margarine is the self-report. Is that the clip you're talking about where she literally just yells out all of the things she's guilty of
No, I don't think
and
so.
tries to act like she's not talking? Okay, listen to. Let me show you.
While you're looking that up, can we at least
Margarine's.
address that they just stole the backdrop from American Idol? Like this is just an American Idol set. It
Oh, at American
like
Fest.
the writing, how it's set up, it just looks like American Idol.
It's an expensive production, America Fest. But I will say this: if I had one thought when I started watching it this weekend, it actually, I think they spent less money on it. Last month or last year, the graphics were insane. Like it literally was American. I was like, this production is
They had
outrageous
I remember
for how much it must
like
cost.
the fireworks that they'd have when people come out, or like whatever those are, like those
They
big,
had like
yeah, pyrotechnics. That's
pyrotechnics,
what I'm looking
yes.
for. Yeah.
Like during the day for like nobody, like Kimberly Guilfoyle, like nobody was in the audience. And I was like, how much does this operation cost? Okay, here's Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's trying to like insult other people, but again, just ends up talking about herself, which is humiliating every time for her.
Of the
Yeah.
money, because I am sick and tired of the stupid people in Washington making horrible decisions, causing Americans to go broke. And that's what they have done. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And it's because we have stupid people in Washington, D.C. And I can say that for a fact because I work with many of them.
Marge notoriously.
Wait. Wait for it.
And I'm not just talking about Democrats.
That's right, Marge. You're talking about yourself. It's
Notorious for working with
literally.
Democrats. She works with zero Democrats. She goes to work at the same place with some Democrats, but she doesn't work with Democrats. She refuses to. So anybody she has worked with, all Republicans, and all people who mostly like are on her side. Yeah, shocker. That is a nice little self-report.
And you're talking about yourself,
That's
Marge.
a nice self-report. I like that.
Exactly. Like, talk about. Oh, here's another one. Do you know who Patrick Bet David is? Is he a pastor or is he just like? Okay, sorry,
hate
you're looking
him.
at me like I'm crazy. So
He's
yeah, everyone does.
Okay,
Okay,
Pat,
I'm
let
just
me tell
making
you
sure.
who Patrick Bet.
But I want to make sure we tell.
Let
Yeah,
me tell you
okay,
how
so
Patrick
explain
Bet
who he
David
is.
got on this fucking stage. Patrick Bet David started an MLM. It was a very successful MLM.
Mid-level
Yes.
marketing scheme for anyone who doesn't know.
He made a lot of money, and then I believe he sold out of the MLM, or it went. I don't know, but he had a lot of money, and then
Oh, he was born in Tehran. I didn't know
yes,
that.
and
He was born in Iran. Iran.
yeah, and then because
Okay.
he didn't know what to do, he started something. His media company is called. I forget what it's even called now. It's stupid. But basically what he did is he went and he hosted these TED Talk type events where he hired extremely famous people to give discussions, and he started posting it online. So he has like Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, like the who's who. And then he parlayed that into a political podcast where, if you've ever heard it, he is Mr. fucking anecdote. If you bring hard data to him, he will respond with an anecdote, or like he thinks everything in economics is so simple. And so he'll break everything down into the most simple possible way where he can understand it, and people all around the country think he's smart, and he says nothing. He's been dusted by Sam Cedar. He's been dusted, I think, by Vosh. I think Destiny was on there. And then he'll just hold like right-wing circle jerks for Vivek and Tim Pool and all those losers.
Yeah, so I'm just looking, his mid-level part marketing scheme for like what I'm just glancing, but it's called People Helping People. It's
Yeah,
allegedly about reaching financial freedom. Oh my God. It's like baller
yeah.
universe. It's
You were
like
selling
Andrew Tate
financial
level.
services, and you were getting a cut. So instead of somebody making 3% off managing your money, they make 11%, and they divide it up against for a bunch of people. And then they offer
Oh
like
God.
discounts on financial services. It was like a coupon club that was really expensive to be a part of, and yeah,
Coupon
it was
club.
nonsense. I think it's still around.
Okay, so anyways, that's who we're talking about. That's who we're talking about. Here's what he's talking about at America Fest. This guy's totally normal.
These Muslims, look how they're growing so fast. Just 50 years ago, we were 3 times the size of them, and now they're the same as us. And in the next 30 years, they're going to be running Senate and Congress and governors. Why do you sound like you're scared? Why don't you go have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 babies? Why do you stop saying lines like the following, where it's like, well, you know, my husband and I, we want to spend 5 years together, and then at 35 years old, we'll think about having a kid, because, you know, it's a lot of work having a kid. What do you think is the biggest juice of life? You think it's a nice house? You think it's a nice car? You think it's having a kid? Oh my God. One of the greatest gifts we have, if you're able to do it with health. I don't want to impose this on some people who God won't even help you have kids because you're wanting to have kids. There's so many people that want to have kids that can't. But if you can have kids, go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, go.
So this man is a man who was born in Iran, right? And is speaking to a predominantly, whatever, a MAGA
Yeah.
audience and instructing them to have kids because, in his words, if you didn't hear him, his first word was Muslims are having too many children and essentially are going to take over the country. That's his
Yeah,
first
so
word.
if you want to do something about it, out baby make. That's what this is a weird. Why were
But
so
that's
many people?
such a huge theme at
Yeah,
America Fest. And
why?
if you know anything about the tenets of fascism, one is the subjugation of women, very, very Handmaid's Tale, and it's about reproduction
Okay.
and keeping the birth rate up. And that's what women are instructed to do at America Fest, to do our duty and pop out as many children as possible.
All right. So that's obviously like something that they must have told the guests like, hey, give us your take on this. Give us your take on
Well,
why we should have
Republicans are
more
great
kids.
at messaging. Yeah, they're all hitting the same points. Like one of the main points, what they're focusing on with young women is saying, don't worry about your education. Don't worry about a job. How you can serve us, the Republican Party, is by producing as many children as possible.
This is exactly what Mormonism was. This is exactly what like evangelical Christianity is. This is the idea. Like when Republicans say that they don't want to like undo the rights of women, when repeal the 19th was trending, guess who was pushing that, right? Like when men when you see all these alt right like these red pill dudes like what are they talking about nonstop? What cam girls, right? OF girls or women who like don't want to just be submissive, women that want to have their own life.
That's always, I mean, it depends. It takes different forms, the conversation. But from what is that crazy YouTube show? Is it Fast and Fit, Slim and Fresh,
Fresh and
something,
fit.
something? What is that?
Fresh
His
and
name?
fit.
Fresh and
Yeah.
Fit. Yeah, like that's all. I mean, essentially, that is what he's doing. It's the same talking point of women stop being promiscuous. You don't. You need to just get married and have the children you're supposed to have. It's
And
scary.
the
AF.
reason we're at this point where this is what they have to advocate for over and over and over again is because their ideas, their actual policies aren't working. This is a different theme than the last America Fest. And they keep having to try these new different themes because and none of the themes are policy stuff. None of them. Like what does this have to do with America? What does this have to do with American politics? Nothing.
America
Yeah,
Fest.
I can tell you, my life would be markedly worse if I had 3 more children. That would suck. And kudos to all of you who have a lot of
And
children.
it's a drain on society as well. Like right? If you want, like, I just want everyone to just really think about the hypocrisy. If they wanted to, if that's the goal, like I said, read the Birth Dearth, which is talking about the problem of losing the white majority by 2040 and what to do to increase specifically the white children being born in this country. And if that, let's just say that's the issue, right? That's a scary issue. But if that's what the Republican Party wants to focus on, then why are they not making it more affordable, right? We can't afford to buy anything. People cannot afford children. This is an economic issue, right? When birth rates decrease, that is usually because the economy is not doing well.
Also, if you want people to breed with you, stop being so unfuckable. That'd be a good idea. Like, stop being repulsive.
Preach to the men out there.
Stop being repulsive, and maybe somebody will have children with you. But that's a good start. That's a good start.
We'll do a whole show about that.
I was looking. There was one I.
Let me go back to Alina Habba.
Yes,
I never
sorry.
did get to. Alina Habba is just out of control. Like with her, I don't even know what to call it. What Alina Habba is doing now, because it's like you're not a lawyer anymore. I mean, it's like the civil case is not even over, and she is doing these speaking appearances. She's going to lose her.
Yeah, well, and she knew that. There's no way she didn't know that going in.
Yeah,
exactly. This has been. She has not acted like an attorney at any point during this. They're like, listen, you already lost.
So I want you. She starts bragging, because Alina Habba and Trump have been sanctioned many times in court because their lawsuits they're bringing are so frivolous, so it's offensive and it's a waste of the court's time. So they're being fined. So here is what Alina Habba thinks about that. Like, make it make sense. Lawyers everywhere are just cringing at her behavior.
That got assigned to a Clinton-appointed judge. What do you think happened? Nobody's heard of the case, right? It's because it's gone. I never met the judge. I never walked into the courtroom. There were probably 50 lawyers representing all of the radical left. Clinton's lawyers, Mook's lawyers, the list goes on and on and
I bet the
on.
list was 2.
1 month.
It was thrown
It
out.
got dismissed, and me and President Trump got sanctioned $1 million for going against crooked Hillary.
What?
You didn't know that, did you?
This guy's hearing it for the first time.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
That could have
You
been
won't
us.
afford it. But guess what? We paid that $1 million, and we're going to keep on fighting.
What?
So they were laughed out of court. Do you know what I'm saying? They filed a lawsuit and were fined $1 million for wasting the court's time. Okay, like, do you understand how gross and egregious it is? She's that terrible of a lawyer, and she's now trying to spin that and be proud.
We got our ass kicked.
Like,
we lost $1 million,
yeah.
and we didn't learn a goddamn thing. And we're gonna keep doing it and keep.
I lost the respect of the law community. And I want to brag about it now for people who won't understand how embarrassing it truly is what I'm saying.
This is the other part that Republicans have done with the messaging for their voters that they've done so well. Every court case is one of two things. Either Trump wins and it was just, or it was a Democrat-appointed judge, or the judge is a rhino. They literally do not have to accept any outcome from any court case because the judge is either a rhino for not just blindly siding with Trump, or they were Democrat appointed. Or if they win, well then that judge, finally a judge who saw things the right way, which I don't foresee them winning any court cases in the near future. They're like, oh, for a fucking lifetime.
It's just like Alina Habba, it's mind-boggling, but at least she seems to be like maybe his favorite female lawyer who's trying to then turn weird podcasts. But think, Christina Bobb, who they literally framed, right? The lawyer in the Docs case who got framed, they made her sign that paper. You know what I mean? The one lawyer gave it to her.
The one that was,
she
was like the lawyer for like 3 days.
She still works. But she is now, her job, she's a Right Side Broadcasting Network reporter. She's the girl standing outside Trump rallies with a microphone. After They literally framed her and made her sign that.
I didn't know
She's
that.
now standing outside Trump rallies interviewing people. Yeah, I'm just saying. Actually, Alina Habba's not even the most of the pathetic lawyers. Like Christina Bob's not even allowed inside. She's outside interviewing people like at the Trump rallies after getting framed. It's like, make it make sense. Somebody help these people.
What was Alina Habba's like area of expertise in the law? Do you know? Before I was.
I actually,
Oh,
I
here we
do
go.
not know. And
Here's
I
her
do,
experience.
what is it?
Corporate
No, don't be
litigation,
scared.
formation, commercial real estate, family law, and financial. So this was her area. Okay.
Just
Yeah.
general, yeah. She's
All
just
right.
a lawyer.
Good enough.
She's just a lawyer. Yeah. So, anyways, there was a lot of things. There was the line of like women, you need to have children, like the Muslims are taking over. I'm trying to think of themes, and then there was like a whole nother category which I would give to like Vivek. And Don Jr. was on this train, the conspiracy train. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like the Clay Higgins, the ghost buses, like the January 6th conspiracy train. And also at Trump's rallies, he wasn't at America Fest, but he had one rally in New Hampshire, I believe, on Friday, and then I can't, oh, Reno. He was in Reno, Nevada. And he, at one of those rallies, I can't remember which one, actually called the J6 prisoners hostages.
Yeah.
I believe they are now hostages. The people who are in jail for
That's
their
correct.
violent crimes.
They just
on
were there
January
for a tour, and we locked them all up.
a 3-hour tour, just like Gilligan's Island. Nothing to see here. Oh yeah, and then so Vivek, I'm not gonna play. I don't have the clip of it, but I'm sure I can find it. He actually told Van Jones to like shut the up in his speech because Vivek did his town hall and went on conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory about J6, and Van Jones on CNN was like, "What the is this guy talking about? Like he makes no sense." So Vivek just attacked Van Jones on the stage. Like a completely, and I want to play. I need to find you. I want to play Junior's clip. Don Junior last year at America Fest. I do suggest if anyone wants to see a good oldie but goodie of Don Junior last year at America Fest, he could barely even function.
Have you noticed?
And this year he's
One of my
Oh, go
favorite
ahead.
things is
I'm
when
listening.
somebody is famous, but they don't have original thoughts of their own. And you get them in a moment where it's unscripted and they try and land a joke. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And Vivek, when he tries to land a joke, his humor is like third grade. It's shut up and then go after their appearance. But Vivek has been doing this lately, where like if any sort of criticism comes at him, he just says, "Shut up, nobody likes you." Like, "Shut up, you're not cool. Shut up, you're not popular." It's the weirdest.
He reminds me of when I was a teacher. He reminds me of kids on like when you have playground duty. Like you're absolutely right. Like the kids are mean and cruel, just so blunt, and you're like, "Who? What? Why is this kid doing this?" Yeah, he reminds me of like maybe a 5th grade boy that needs to go in timeout on recess.
Like, yeah, he called.
Okay, here's Don Jr. This is another 5th grade boy who desperately needs to go in timeout on recess. Junior's just trying
got
so
my
hard to
dad.
get his dad to love him. The day's not coming, Junior, but God, he needs daddy's love so bad.
Trying to do that to my father. Because he led, apparently, I'm told, the first unarmed insurrection in the history of insurrections. I mean, it's,
Can you pause?
I understand that he...
Let's keep in mind that during this so-called armed insurrection, little bitch boy here was like, "Daddy, stop! Somebody tell Daddy to stop! He's got to stop this!"
Text
Like,
don't lie,
he's
Don Jr.
Yeah, he's texting Mark Meadows like, "Please get him to stop! This is crazy!" Now he's like, "Supposedly, dude, you were losing your shit when
know.
this was going on. You don't get to be this guy now."
Exactly. He's a hostage. Poor Don. Poor Don. We need to get him in therapy.
He's an innovative guy, but that's probably not the way you innovate. But again, it's all BS, right? We see that now. But 2 years later, when they can no longer hide the exculpatory video, when you no longer see, oh wait, what's the
Can you pause
FBI
it?
or the other
Can you
feds in
pause
the
it?
insurrection?
Yeah.
Exculpatory
For
video.
all of you Republicans who think the video was hidden, it's because you didn't watch the January 6th committee hearings. They showed all this shit. There is not a single.
It's unreal.
There's
It's unreal.
nothing that has come out that we didn't see, that we haven't seen before. Like, unless you're talking about little, like, Ray Epps or some of the video that they cut the audio from, like, virtually everything we've seen before. This isn't new. It
No,
wasn't
the
hidden.
best is when they're like, look at this security guard just standing and walking around amongst people. Yeah, when there's a mob of violent people chanting to unalive other people, like you're just a couple of police officers or security guards. It is interesting to see, like, sociologically, like how people respond at a crisis.
Also,
right?
is
Like,
it not?
yeah,
Why did
you never
Why
know.
do they think that literally nobody in law enforcement, nobody in the FBI, nobody at Capitol Police, none of them would be sympathetic? Like, white nationalists have infiltrated every level of
course.
law enforcement for decades, and you think some of them aren't going to be like, hell yeah, finally we get this? Like, of course. By the way, for Republicans who still think this, if that happened, if you had the FBI working against Trump, well, that's his FBI. What are you talking about? Like, Joe Biden had so much power. This guy who you guys think can't complete sentences, he had so much power that he was able to infiltrate the FBI when he wasn't president, get them to do things to make Donald Trump what? Donald Trump had already lost. It was over. There was no benefit to the Democrats staging a coup like this. There's no benefit. What is the outcome where if Democrats faked this?
To interrupt Joe Biden, the Democrats' candidate, becoming president. Just if you guys could just follow your own logic, why would Antifa? Why would they break up their own candidate, the official congressional proceeding, for him to be affirmed as the leader of country?
And then, by the way, all the people,
make it make
and then all the
sense.
people that planned it, the Proud Boys, they were in with Joe Biden too. And by the way, all these fake set of electors that you saw all around the country, the Democrats did that too. Like, they did this whole thing to frame Donald Trump after Donald Trump
Their own
lost.
candidate, yeah.
That was the point of this whole thing. You lost, and now we're going to frame you because we're so afraid of you. It's crazy. Make it make some sense. Just have better conspiracy theories that make sense, like, on any fucking level.
Do you want to talk to Ethan?
Sure.
He's here to talk to us. Ethan! Don't do the weird thing with your hand, Ethan.
That's vague.
Guys, tap the screen. Let's get to 200.
Hi, Ethan.
How are you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm still just so impressed by you guys. Like, you're some of the first liberals to talk about ESG scores, and we're starting to bridge the gap. And I just wanted to commend you and say, if there is one message I could help you bring to the masses, because that's what I do all day, is just try to bring messages to the masses. What would it be? Could we like just switch off? Like, you bring a little message for me, I'll bring a little message to you, and then we save the world. No big deal.
Probably depends on your message there. Probably.
I mean, usually you're yelling something awful about the LGBT.
I love the LGBTQ. I just wish they would denounce.
We know you keep saying, yeah, right after you say something awful, then you say, like, oh, like, my best friend is trans. I
know that's why I'm so passionate about it. I just hate that, the WEF is giving them a bad name. They're exploiting them. They're taking advantage of them.
If anyone, just to explain to anyone who's not familiar with Ethan, Ethan's a conspiracy theorist who thinks the World Economic Forum is in league with the LGBTQ to what now?
Yeah,
to oversell them.
Well,
Ethan, is that what you're worried is happening? People are liking it too much.
Well, and I think there's a fine line between promoting and teaching acceptance and tolerance, and maybe using it as means of population reduction.
So how do we know when we've crossed the line, Ethan?
That's a good question. That's a good question. When it's cool for guys, because there's a lot of bi men in marriages, and I care about kids and families, and there's a lot of closet gay guys and bi guys in marriages that are.
What's wrong with that?
Well,
Why can't you be a bisexual in a
But I think
marriage,
I think
Ethan?
it
Those things are not mutually
well,
exclusive,
and
right? I'm bisexual. I can have one partner though and be committed to them.
yeah, I think as far as keeping a family together, and what I just think about is kids. You know,
Oh, we can't, bisexual people can't keep families together. What in the does that even mean?
yeah. So
You sounded very Project
I
2025,
so
Ethan.
do you? What do
That's
you guys
exactly
think?
what
I mean,
Project
do you think they should be in the closet, or should we celebrate and just say, because we're sexual beings, but should we
Well,
celebrate and just
Ethan,
go and make it
yeah, Ethan, the thing is about celebrations is like the reason we celebrate things is generally to acknowledge some sort of grievance that has been overcome or that we're trying to overcome. For example, in this country, every 4th of July, we remember the time that we told the British to go fuck themselves, right? Now, are we still being persecuted by the Brits? Absolutely not. In fact, you could say maybe we're persecuting them. But every year on the 4th of July, we have a big production and we talk about that time that we beat the British. When you're talking about like publicly acknowledging like a pride parade or something like that, what you're trying to do with those is normalize it. You want everybody to, when you have these celebrations, it normalizes the fact that people are different and it's not harming anybody, because a parade doesn't harm anybody. That's the whole point of that. The only people who ever get affected by a pride parade are conservatives who don't want to see gay people. I've my brother's kids, he was like he was just a contrarian, but from an early age, like 2, 3, 4 years old, he would take his kids to pride parades every year. Like these, and my brother's so redneck, and his kids are so redneck. But now he has this weird dichotomy where he has these redneck kids who live in the middle of a red state, and yet they're loving and accepting to the LGBTQ community. And by the way, none of them are part of the LGBTQ community, but they were raised early on from an early age to just be like, oh, it's normal. Like there are people who have sex with people that I wouldn't have sex with, and that's okay. That's the whole point of all this stuff. If you can't normalize something until everybody has been around something and everybody has had experience with something. That's why you see it on TV. That's why you see it in movies. That's why you see Disney taking an active role to have LGBTQ characters. That's the whole reason for that. It's not some sort of like plan to get you and to be like a woke mind virus. It's a plan of acceptance. When you see things
right.
a lot and it's part of your everyday, like it just becomes part of your everyday. Like seatbelts. Remember when nobody wore seatbelts? I remember being a kid, like on family trips. We drove across the country. I was in the back of a truck, all the way across the country. No seatbelt. We like had a board and mattresses, and we sat there and watched TV. But then after a while, you started seeing the seatbelt laws, and then you saw a lot of education about seatbelts, and you saw commercials like "Buckle up, it could save a life." And you see that it's that awareness. And then you're like, wait a minute, I need to buckle up, and we see that fatalities go down. That's what this is about. It's about making sure that people who may not always be around somebody who's LGBTQ to say like, oh, that's not strange, it's not weird, it's not something I need to be worried about. It's just people who have sex with somebody that maybe I'm not attracted to, or maybe it's the same person I'm attracted to, but they're not attracted to me. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, acceptance gets to be kind of a slippery slope when
Could you give me
you
an
get into
example of
like,
when accept? Can
No,
you
it
give me an
isn't.
example of when acceptance was a slippery slope in this country?
yeah, when we have to accept that somebody is not the gender that they're claiming to
What's
be,
the slippery
and when
slope?
we're forced
So,
and for the laws as far as
so
when
what's the
as far
slippery?
as
Wait. I understand. What's the slippery slope, though?
and so the slippery slope would be like having to force people to use pronouns, where they've made it law that if you misgender somebody, you can go to jail in
And
like
and what's well?
Ontario.
That's not
And
well. That's not true. So,
What are you talking about?
yeah, so
hold on, real quick,
yeah, if
Ethan. So,
you
Ethan, hold on. So, the question I'm asking, and maybe I'll ask it a little differently. When you say a slippery slope, what you're saying is that acceptance will lead to something bad. What do you think it is going to lead to?
Well, in the case of just freedom of speech, and when you misgender somebody, and by misgendering somebody, facing jail time or fines for because you don't believe with
Ethan, do you?
so,
Yeah, real quick. Do you
and not
understand?
that my
Do you
not
understand
to
what those?
say my
Hold on,
my
hold on. Do you
best.
understand? Do you understand what those laws like when you're talking about misgendering and people going to jail for misgendering? Do you know like what law they're breaking?
Yeah, it's kind of a harassment, bullying, I think,
Harassment,
kind of.
right? And if you get convicted or if you're charged with harassment, it's because you targeted and consistently targeted an individual,
Right.
right? So
Well,
do you think that if I target a trans person and consistently misgender them on purpose and in public, that that should fall under harassment the same way as if I went after them because they were Jewish? Do you think they should have the same protections?
yeah, but it gets to, well, there was
So
a
then what's
case
the
with
problem? So
a
what's the
father
problem
and
then?
his child, like.
Wait, what's the problem with this law then? What's the problem with harassment laws also protecting Sorry. What's the problem with harassment laws protecting trans people?
Guys, tap the screen. Let's get the 300K.
I muted you,
Well,
Ethan.
now I want to. While Ethan's doing, yeah, Ethan, can you unmute now if there's not noise in the background? If not, I wanted to say something really quick
Go
about
ahead.
Ethan's premise and how dangerous. Like, I just want to say this, Ethan. This is what's dangerous when you are inferring that if you're bisexual and you're in a marriage, somehow you're more prone to, I guess, promiscuity, right? I just really need to stress that bisexual people are no different than straight people inside a committed relationship. Straight people can cheat, bisexual people can cheat. That's a personal choice, right? That has nothing to do. The idea that the LGBTQ community is morally bankrupt, more promiscuous. This is the dangerous rhetoric that you are spreading. It is not true. I'm bisexual. I want one partner essentially at a time. Just because I'm attracted to men and women does not make me promiscuous. It doesn't mean that I'm more promiscuous than a straight person, right? It's not logical what you're saying, and it's dangerous.
Well, in the case, what I'm talking about is I'm talking about men, for example, and being in a marriage where, where they need to go and act out fantasies and maybe dress up as a woman and to lead to getting more sex.
What's wrong with that?
So the problem is that there's kids involved, and I think it should be. I think it should.
Hold on, hold on. No, they're not. Why are kids involved?
What are you
That's the
talking?
example I'm giving. If a guy is in a marriage and has kids at home, yet he has these fantasies of wanting to act out some stuff, I think that it being taboo serves the children and serves keeping a family together over
Says
acting
who?
out what's he want to do.
I know bi men who are allowed to have sex with other men, and their children either do, like their children don't know, or their children will find out later, and it doesn't matter. Like
Right.
there are marriages that are progressive like that are kind of open. What's wrong? So what's wrong with that?
Well, I think when we normalize it and normalize the acceptance of it,
Yeah.
it fosters more to the individual, and it takes away the emphasis on keeping a family together.
No, I don't think so. I think that it actually emphasizes that people have needs, and if they communicate those needs with the people that they're in a relationship with, you can have alternate needs. You can have two people, two very different people with different needs who can work together in a relationship and raise a family. I think it shows the
Yeah.
exact opposite. I think that largely what you have, Ethan, is just homophobia. Right, like your the worst thing that you could possibly imagine was that like you were gay. That would be terrible for you. It's just homophobia. And because you don't understand that, and you don't understand that there are people who don't have those fears, and people can operate in relationships different than yours, you think that it's just bad. What you have is a
Well,
problem with
so
tunnel vision. You think that your way is the only way, and it's not. I'm not a bisexual male. I've been married. We didn't have an agreement like that. Like, I don't know what that's like either. But I do know people who function that way. They have healthy, happy marriages, healthy, happy children.
yeah, I mean, I think monogamy is a better solution or a
Why?
better means of keeping a family together.
Why?
You know,
Why?
I because it puts kids first. I think committed relationships and
Wait,
holding a family
why does who
is the
wait,
cornerstone of
why does
society.
who you wait,
Society.
why does who you have sex with determine whether or not you put your kids first? What if you're just a bisexual man and when your kids are at school, that's when you do your adventures.
Right. And that's why I
How
think
were you
it's
so in that scenario, how were the kids affected? How were you not putting your children first?
right. And that's why I think it's better that it's a little
No, I need you
that
to
that's
ask and no. I need you to answer the question. How is that not putting your children first?
um it just speaks to the power of committed relationships,
No, it speaks
I think.
it speaks to nothing. I'm asking you a specific question that you can't seem to answer. If you do this like your kids go to school and that's when daddy has his fun time, when my kid is at school, sometimes I go golf. Does that mean I'm not putting her first?
Right.
Okay,
So I
so
mean,
if instead of golf I replaced it with making out with men, would that mean any? Would that be the same thing? Like I'm still putting my kid first. It's at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock on Wednesdays. I go and I make out with men at a Golden Corral. I like older men, so I find that
And I film it.
yeah, and Felice is there filming it. And then when my daughter gets home from school, I give her love and affection, and I help her with her homework, and we create memories together. And she goes to sleep, and I go to sleep, and we wake up, and next Wednesday we do it all over again. And Felice is making a little bit of money because we've allowed her to post it online and do capitalism. So
yeah.
and then I'm getting a kickback too. So now my kid gets a little more financial security. So how am I not putting my kids first in that scenario?
Um Yeah, I mean, I guess it's your partner. It's your partner. It's your partner. I think that you're selling
Bingo.
short. And I think
Wait.
when
What
you're
if your
not,
part? No. What if your partner likes that? What if your partner's like,
what if
hey, this
your partner might be filming it too? Then if that's fine, I guess.
bingo,
Then I
bingo. Now you're keeping it in the family. Now it's a family activity. It's a bonding moment for you and your spouse. Now you've come
right,
closer together by you making out with a dude. Your marriage is better. Your relationship is better. You're still a good parent. Now not and maybe your spouse likes to watch it. So now you've made your spouse happy. You've made you happy. You made a little extra money. Your kid's more financially
We're
secure.
all voyeuristic.
Yeah, and what
Same.
like where's the harm here?
yeah,
Because I agree with you, Ethan. If I was a bisexual man and it was during the time I had my daughter and I was like, sorry, stay at home and watch cartoons while I go down the street and make out with Gary, then yeah, you'd be like, that's a problem. You're putting Gary before your kids. I would agree with you. But what you're doing is you're saying like all sex that isn't heterosexual sex means that you're putting that before the children. If you're going to say that, then you have to agree that just like all sex, that if you choose sex before your children, then that's always the case. Then you're choosing sex before your children. But it shouldn't matter who you're having sex with.
right. Well, I
Right.
mean, and I'm thinking of the specific examples where it takes away
Okay.
from the family. There are, there's certainly situations that you could work it out that everybody is a win-win, but
Yeah. Like when Trump cheated on all his wives and paid a bunch of people like some corn stars like when Don Jr. didn't ever want to talk to him again, when his kids didn't want to talk to him. Yeah, like that hurt the family, and you can see the destruction on that family. You can
So why
see.
don't you care about that, Ethan? Do you see the hypocrisy?
well, yeah, I mean, I just what I have I
Well,
think we need
hold on, Ethan,
taboos.
because now here's the slippery slope that we're talking about. Because when he made a joke about assaulting women, he said it's locker room talk. And then when he was questioned about that locker room talk, and they said, "Are like, is that true? You think because you're famous you can do that?" He said, "Historically, that is true." And then they said, or do you consider this is all his deposition, do you consider yourself famous? He said yes. That's the slippery slope. Donald Trump is saying that if you are famous, you can assault women. But we don't hear a lot from you guys about that. We hear you guys talking a lot in generalities about people of the LGBTQ community and assuming how awful they are. But when there's evidence presented right in front of your face, an actual slippery slope fallacy where you have Christians all over this country defending sexual assault, that you guys don't care about. But you do care a lot about these hypotheticals where there's like a bisexual married man who gets some on the side. That's what you're worried about.
You know, and more specifically, what concerns me is like the World Health Organization has a standards in sexual education, and it starts at zero-year old. From 0 to like 3 or 4 is masturbation, and from 6 to 9 is learning about intercourse. But it's really inappropriate, and I think if you
Well,
realize
here's
that,
the thing. Do you have kids, Ethan?
yeah.
Yeah, one of the most shocking things for me, like as a parent and a parent of a daughter, is that like how I was raised. Like kids are naturally curious and they don't understand things, so like they'll explore like their own bodies, right, at different ages. And as a parent, you have to be aware of that and be okay being uncomfortable and explaining to your children what's happening. Now, I don't know about if what you're saying is true exactly on like when they teach certain things, but yeah, dude, the best thing you can do to protect your children is have them understand what this stuff is. There is zero evidence that educating kids, like sexually educating kids, makes them more promiscuous. In fact, it's the exact opposite. That educating them makes them less promiscuous because they understand the implications and makes them far less likely to be abused. But this is just like your Christianity or your belief system boiling up saying sex is bad, so kids can't learn about it because sex is bad. But truthfully, you withholding that from them, and for decades, us withholding that from them, has made it really easy to abuse kids. At the beginning of the show today,
Yes.
I talked about a documentary that I was watching on HBO, and this guy got away with decades of abusing children because nobody talked about this stuff. It was taboo. And
Right.
the girls who are grown women now saying the same thing, and he was saying as an excuse, and I'm sorry, this is one of the grossest parts, but as an excuse, he said, I justified it because they seemed to be enjoying it. He used that as an excuse,
Right.
and then these women saying the reason he thought I was enjoying it is because I didn't understand what was going on, and like things felt it was new sensations that I
Yeah, let me
didn't
speak to this.
understand.
Yeah, let me just speak to this really quick. I mentioned earlier in the show that I was a victim of SA when I was a child. Like, and I've also explained previously that when you come from an abusive household, I was never hugged. Like, my parents never brushed my hand. I was never patted on the head. I had no idea what healthy touch was or unhealthy touch. All I knew is when you're a child and you're completely neglected and not touched at all, not hugged, not loved, you're desperate for that affection. So then you start getting the wrong type of touch, unhealthy touch. But nobody has explained to you what healthy touch is and what unhealthy touch is. And that is how children are victimized, Ethan. This is why I get so upset about the right talking about children. If you care about children, they must be educated about these things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, those are good points. You know, and I agree with you guys on that stuff. But I do also know the standpoint that and interests of what some of the stuff that what WEF believes and some of the policies that's coming out of what they believe. And for
Well, we just,
example, would
but we
be
just went
the
over. Wait, but
California.
hold on. We just went over those, and you had no idea what the left was advocating for. You were wrong about all of it, Ethan. To be friend to friend, like I don't actually think you know what we advocate for. I think everything you believe the left advocates for, you've been told by a right winger, and you could not point me to the source. And if you did point me to the source wouldn't say what you think it's saying. Like, are you going to tell me about California's laws now? We can go there. But I'm going to guess that right now, whatever you cite in California is probably going to be wrong. But go ahead.
And while he's doing that, let's tap the screen, guys. This has been such a great show.
Running out of time here, Ethan. Are you trying to find that source? All right. Well, we have a hard cutoff anyways. Ethan, I'm going to drop you. We'll bring you. We can finish this another time. Felice, thank you for being pretty vulnerable today. Appreciate it.
Good Monday show. I feel good about today. Yeah, definitely. Stressful weekend, stressful last week, but nice recovery. I think we're doing well, guys. It's such a pleasure to do this show for you guys, and I just wanted to say we appreciate you guys showing up day after day and being interactive with us. Like, it really means more than you guys know. This is like a labor of love, and like the interaction that I get with you guys, it literally keeps me going. So thank you.
Yeah, and I'm fueled by caffeine and Adderall, but then you guys, when those fail, you guys usually jump in. So I do appreciate it. The opposition day was fairly friendly too. Let's finish up on America Fest tomorrow. I don't want to pretend that all those things didn't happen, because there's so much more to cover with America Fest, and I assume you'll have a bunch of videos out on it already. You already have some.
Yeah, I'll look
coming.
for more. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. We'll wrap it up tomorrow.
And Jake's doing a good job getting we had a glitch last week. A few people messaged me about YouTube not loading our video. We had this weird thing where it would load to 98% and then stop. We believe we fixed that. So all of Felice's videos, the replay here, and then clips from this the daily show will be on YouTube probably in the next 5 or 6 hours, and you'll see them load every hour on the hour for this evening. So watch for the replay there. If you're not following us, it's at RTP-Talks, I think. Is that right? I should know that by now. I think that's what it is. Anyways, it's in my bio, in the link tree. Do I have a link tree? One of those ones.
Yes, yes, definitely. And if you want more interaction, then join the Discord. We're gonna be having more VCs and doing things soon there. So there's such a great community in the Discord if you want to continue the conversations that we're having here.
Absolutely.
Snowman, thank you so much.
To the mods that are here, mods did a great job. There was a lot of shit happened in the chat today, so thank you, mods, for taking care of that. There was stuff that happened quickly and was taken care of. And Discord, thanks for joining in. We will see you all tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. to noon Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. We will be here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, Felice.
Have a great day.
See ya.
Bye.